Chapter 774. When Zhao Feng broke through to the True Lord rank, there was still 4 months until the Divine Illusion dimension opened. There's plenty of time, but I still need some Water of Wind resources to form the foundation of the Water of Wind Lightning. Zhao Feng wasn't in a rush. From the looks of it, his rebirth plan was progressing at a steady pace, even faster than he had expected. The 4th level of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique was a turning point, so Zhao Feng didn't dare to be slow. He didn't have many Water of Wind resources on hand. From the 4th to the 6th level, it would all be the foundation for the Water of Wind Thunder, which would allow one to train it all the way to the half-step King Warrior level. One could imagine how many Water of Wind and Lightning resources would be needed. Within the room, Zhao Feng tried to form the Water of Wind Lightning, and a ripple of water appeared on his body along with the humming of wind and lightning. For the first 3 levels, he completed the elemental skeleton of wind and thunder. From the 4th level onwards, he would enter the door of the 5 elemental wind lightning. Zhao Feng merged the water of the 5 elemental wind lightning into his first level. In reality, within Zhao Feng's body, a water bloodline had formed, which was a byproduct of the god's spiritual eye. In the center of his purple soul sea, the blue lake was still the same. At the center of the lake was a mysterious whirlpool that connected to the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng planned to enter the ancient dream realm after a while. A few days later, Zhao Feng used some Water of Wind resources, and a ripple of blue wind lightning appeared in his source of true spirit. The power of wind lightning was still the same, but it had the characteristics of water. However, at this moment, only 1/5 of Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had transformed into the Water of Wind Lightning. Zhao Feng used the Water of Wind Lightning to refine his body, and he found that the Water of Wind Lightning had a certain effect on his organs. His physique would no longer be rigid and hard. It would be endowed with more tenacity. The 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body are a perfect match. Zhao Feng could not help but praise him. When he mastered the 5 elemental wind and thunder and used them to refine his body would be immune to all kinds of attacks from the 5 elemental wind and thunder. This sacred lightning body was undoubtedly more perfect. Demigod Kuan Yun, you probably didn't expect this day to come, Zhao Feng chuckled. Even in the mainland dynasties, demigods were extraordinary figures who stood at the top of the clouds. Back then, the demigod Kuan Yun's little trick helped Zhao Feng instead. Unfortunately, I won't have a chance to enter that Heaven's Legacy race city again. Zhao Feng murmured. He had experienced a reincarnation. His life was full of ups and downs. He was aware of the gains and losses, and he was indifferent to both praise and humiliation. In this world, it was impossible for any peak almighty to have a smooth journey. The path of life was full of ups and downs. On this day, Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached the early stage True Lord rank. I'll finish all the missions for the next year and get some water elemental resources. Zhao Feng took off his seclusion token and walked out of the courtyard. As soon as he walked out, an outer disciple nearby whispered, "Quick, that brat's coming out." Several outer disciples stared at Zhao Feng's every move with a message token in their hands. So, Senior Marshal Brother Guang, who lived nearby, quickly arrived. How is this possible? True Lord rank. Senior Marshal Brother Guang could feel the change in Zhao Feng's aura from afar. It had only been a few months? That brat at the True Human rank had jumped 2 ranks and reached the True Lord rank. Immediately, Senior Marshal Brother Guang took out a message token and was about to tell Luo Zun. This message token was given to him by Luo Zun before he left. However, just as Senior Brother Guang took out the communication token, his hand became empty. The communication token had disappeared. "My message token?" Senior Marshal Brother Guang exclaimed. "Meow meow." A silver-gray thieving cat grabbed Senior Marshal Brother Guang's message token and flashed away. At the same time, "Little thieving cat, good job." Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and flew away, leaving behind an enraged Senior Marshal Brother Guang. He took away Senior Marshal Brother Guang's message token. Without it, Senior Marshal Brother Guang wouldn't be able to contact Luo Zun in a short amount of time. The Tianfeng Great Island Zone was so big, and it wouldn't be easy for senior marshal brother Guang to find Luo Zun again. Not long after, Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and arrived at the mission hall. In the next few days, Zhao Feng started to take missions like crazy. Every time he took a mission, it was for a specific area. This included some of the higher-ranked missions. In a short span of 10 days, Zhao Feng crazily completed dozens of quests. All of the quests were completed by himself at an extremely fast speed. Every time he returned to the mission hall to collect his rewards and points, he would be met with gasps of surprise. A measly True Lord rank completed so many missions that even Origin Core realms couldn't. There must be some secret on this brat. Within the mission hall, there were a few mission masters who relied on missions to obtain large amounts of cultivation resources. However, compared to Zhao Feng's insane efficiency, these people had to concede defeat. Over the past 10 days, the rewards and points that Zhao Feng received were enough to make the eyes of some Origin Core realms go red. The more he went, the more difficult the missions that Zhao Feng comprehended became. It's about time. I've finished all the missions for a year. Zhao Feng nodded his head. After that, the second thing he did was to alarm the clan. 4 to 5 days later, Zhao Feng returned to the clan and went straight to the exchange castle. This time, Zhao Feng had tamed a large number of spiritual pets, and their cultivations ranged from the true spirit realm to the great Origin Core realm. The spirit pet pouches on his body were all bulging. This large number of spiritual pets was thrown into the exchange castle and caused a huge commotion. Many rare and hard-to-tame spiritual pets appeared in Zhao Feng's hands. Many experts from the 10,000 sacred clan heard the news and came to buy or bid on these spiritual pets. Some rare spiritual pets even attracted the attention of Void God Realm kings. Zhao Feng's talent as a beast tamer started to become famous in the 10,000 sacred clan. Just from this auction alone, Zhao Feng earned a large sum of primal crystal stones. Some experts of the clan heard of Zhao Feng's fame and came to ask him to tame spiritual pets. Every time Zhao Feng tamed a beast, he would earn more, and it was more efficient than doing missions. Of course, Zhao Feng wouldn't take low-level beast taming jobs. After accumulating a large sum of money, Zhao Feng returned to his residence and continued to cultivate the water of wind lightning. These resources are enough for me to reach the half-step Origin Core realm in one go. Zhao Feng was slightly excited. Of course, he also bought body strengthening, lightning Dao, and Soul Dao treasures. The Soul Dao treasures were the most expensive. However, Zhao Feng needed these precious Soul Dao treasures to recover his soul and emperor intent. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique had finally reached the 4th level. At this moment in time, the power of wind lightning within his source of true spirit had turned into the water of wind lightning. 1. Zhao Feng circulated his true force, and a layer of water blue wind lightning surrounded his body. I wonder if the water of wind lightning can be used as the foundation for the water spirit divine change. Zhao Feng was slightly interested. The water spirit divine change could turn one's flesh and blood into liquid for a short period of time. It was a peerless technique of the water element. After using this technique, one could gain an undying body for a short period of time. Zhao Feng thought about it and found that it was possible. Once he succeeded, the water spirit divine change would probably become the water lightning divine change. Its defense wouldn't change, but its offense would increase dramatically. After cultivating the wind lightning technique to the 4th level, Zhao Feng used the water of wind lightning to refine the sacred lightning body. However, the 4th level of the 5 elemental sacred lightning body was also a dividing line. The first 3 levels were the foundation. From the 4th level onwards, each level was split into beginner, early stages, late stages, peak stages, and so on. The difficulty would increase. Once the sacred lightning body reached the late stages of the 4th level, one would be able to look down on those at the Origin Core realm. Zhao Feng's sacred lightning body was slowly approaching the peak 3rd level. The 4th level was a big bottleneck. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. Facing the bottleneck of the 4th level, he even planned to go to the ancient dream realm. However, the spiritual fruits in the ancient dream realm were extremely hard to digest, so now wasn't the best time. With Zhao Feng's current cultivation, he wouldn't be able to hunt wild beasts in the ancient dream realm, and it would be hard for him to travel. Zhao Feng, your letter. A whistling sound came from outside as a messenger from the sect flew past. A letter passed through the light screen of the formation and fused into it. The Zhao family of Yunling? Zhao Feng took the letter and opened it. His eyebrows furrowed. The letter mentioned the battle between the Zhao clan and the Yin family was becoming more and more intense. On top of that, the Yin family had received the support of a mysterious power and was able to push back the Zhao clan. Feng, the head of the Luo family, promised that as long as you apologize to the Luo family for the divorce letter, they will help you resolve this problem. The sigh of Zhao Feng's grandfather sounded at the end of the letter. Zhao Feng's expression became grim after reading the entire letter. Luo Zun, 8th Prince, is this all you've got? Zhao Feng wasn't an idiot. The strength of the Yin family and the Zhao clan was on the same level. Last time, Zhao Feng had killed several experts of the Yin family and severely injured them. Under this situation, how could the measly Yin family counterattack and bring danger to the Zhao clan? Zhao Feng used some force in his hand, and the letter turned into dust. Looks like I need to go to the Yunling Zhao clan. From the memories of the previous owner, Zhao Feng knew that Zhao Feng wanted to make the family great again. Furthermore, Zhao Feng and his grandfather were extremely close, and they were like father and son. At the end of the letter was a request from Zhao Feng's grandfather, so Zhao Feng couldn't ignore it. Immediately, Zhao Feng exited seclusion and rode the Yinming bird to the messenger hall of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Can I send letters to the continent zone? Zhao Feng asked. Some big forces, such as two-star sects, families, and lord dynasties can receive them. An old man who received the letter said, Sure, I'll send a letter to the Duanmu family in the continent zone. Zhao Feng spoke slowly. After saying that, he held a pen and wrote some content. Then he used a special method to encrypt and seal it. Duanmu family? Are you talking about one of the 8 big families of the Great Gon Lord dynasty? The old man was dumbfounded. That's right. Zhao Feng confidently handed the letter over to the elder and handed over a large sum of primal crystal stones. It had been a while since he arrived at the Great Gon Lord dynasty. Zhao Feng finally remembered to write a letter to his master, Duanmu Qing, and Zhao Yufei to tell them that he was safe. They would meet again in the future. Chapter 775. The Duanmu family will receive your letter in about half a year. The elder examined Zhao Feng with a strange look in his eyes. The Duanmu family was one of the 8 big families of the Great Gon Lord dynasty, and it was comparable to a 3-star superpower. The 8 big families were closely related to the Great Gon Imperials, and their influence in the mortal world was even greater than some 3-star superpowers. Apart from the 4-star superpowers, the 8 big families stood at the peak of the continent. Half a year. Zhao Feng said to himself. The continent zone was even larger than he had expected. One had to know that the messenger had to use the teleportation array and had a very efficient route. Before he left, Zhao Feng bought a map of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. On the map, there were 18 provinces on the continent of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. One province was equivalent to the Tsang Ocean. For example, the Tsang Ocean and Nanlin Ocean were equivalent to a province of the Great Gon Lord dynasty, but their population density and cultivation level were far behind the provinces of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. Furthermore, there was more than one Lord dynasty in the continent zone. The description on the map was very objective. The current Great Gon Lord dynasty was in a period of decline. In the northern part of the continent zone, the Dark Moon Lord dynasty had risen tens of thousands of years ago and was ruled by non-humans and demons. At this moment, the biggest enemy of the Great Gon Lord dynasty was the Dark Moon Lord dynasty. They didn't have time to care about the weaker ocean zones in the Tsang Ocean. Zhao Feng put the map away. Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and flew toward the Zhao family according to his memory. Half a day after Zhao Feng left Wush, a general in blue robes at the half-step king level flew to the 10,000 Sacred Clan. A shiny silver token expanded to 100 yards and floated in the air. There was a purple dragon on its surface, and it gave off a powerful king aura. The aura from the token seemed to be connected to heaven and earth. Noble token. Some experts of the 10,000 Sacred Clan were alerted. Even if it wasn't the main token of the noble token, its aura was still extraordinary. General, what can I do for you? An enforcer captain at the half-step king level came over. An order from the Duke's mansion. Summon your sect's genius beast tamer, Zhao Feng. The blue-robed general said indifferently. Zhao Feng? Some people from the 10,000 Sacred Clan looked at each other and soon came to a conclusion. If it was just Zhao Feng, they might not be able to find him so quickly. However, for someone from the Duke's residence to call him a genius beast tamer, it was clear that he was the target. After a while, an elder at the Origin Core realm answered, General, unfortunately, Zhao Feng already asked to leave the clan half a day ago. He has some business to attend to. In the sect, disciples and even mid-level members would usually have their whereabouts recorded when they went out or carried out missions. This was not only a strict restriction of the sect rules, but also a form of protection for the disciples. In this way, even if a disciple were to go missing or meet with an accident, the sect would be able to quickly find clues by following the clues. Therefore, for a sect like the 10,000 Sacred Clan, normal outsiders wouldn't dare to kill them easily. Why are people from the Duke's palace looking for Zhao Feng? Senior Marshal Brother Guang's eyebrows furrowed. His message token with Luo Zun had been stolen by Zhao Feng, so he was looking for Zhao Feng and wanted to sue him. At the same time, Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and flew toward the northern part of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Half a day later ahead was a mountain range that merged with the clouds and mist. Zhao Feng knew that the Yunling area was a rather remote area in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Here, the most abundant resources were some low-grade ores and crystals. These resources might not even be worth mentioning in the eyes of two-star sections. However, this place was the lifeline of some of the families in the Yunling area. The Zhao clan and the Yin family were the top forces in the Yunling area, and they had competed with each other for many years. After going through the memories, the Yinming bird that Zhao Feng sat on arrived at the territory of the Zhao clan. Soon after, the Yinming bird landed on a castle at the peak of a mountain. This castle was called the Zhao family castle, and it was the true headquarters of the Zhao clan. In comparison, the nearby cities were just some of the forces of the Zhao clan. In general, the Zhao clan of the Yunling area was countless times stronger than the Zhao clan of Sunfeather City in Zhao Feng's previous life. It could be said that even if all the forces in the Cloud area combined together, they wouldn't be a match for the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, the arrival of the Yinming bird still caused a commotion in the Zhao family castle. After all, this wasn't the 10,000 Sacred Clan, which was close to a 3-star force. The Yinming bird was a rare spiritual beast, and it was extremely rare to see it in the Zhao family castle. It's young Master Zhao. Young Master Zhao is back. Some of the members of the Zhao family castle soon recognized Zhao Feng and were very excited. Zhao Feng was a once-in-a-thousand-year genius of the Yunling Zhao clan. Zhao Feng obviously knew what kind of expectations the Yunling Zhao clan had placed on him. Feng, young Master Zhao? Voices filled with pride and admiration sounded. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face as he nodded at the members of the Zhao clan of the Yunling area and didn't say anything. A small number of people who were familiar with the original Zhao Feng felt that young Master Zhao had changed. A while later, in a great hall of the Zhao clan, Zhao Feng met some of the upper echelon members of the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, the atmosphere in the hall was solemn. Zhao Feng, you were too rash. How could you divorce Luo Shui in front of everyone? The head of the family and the elders scolded. As a mid-tier family in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, the Zhao clan of the Yunling area was comparable to a 1.5-star sect. The cultivation of the upper echelon members of the family was all at the Origin Core realm. 1 or 2 of the elders were even at the Great Origin Core realm. You called me back just to scold me? Zhao Feng's voice was slightly cold. He didn't have any feelings for the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, because he had taken over this body, he was able to fulfill some of the wishes of the original owner. Disrespecting your elders. How dare you talk back? Head of the family Zhao Tianyi roared coldly as anger and surprise appeared in his eyes. Although the original Zhao Feng wasn't very obedient, he had never talked back to an elder of the family like this. Now that he's grown up, he doesn't even put us elders in his eyes. An elder sighed. If it was a normal disciple, the head of the family would have slapped him already. However, with Zhao Feng's current status, they didn't dare to do anything. After all, he was the biggest hope of the Zhao clan in the past several hundred years. Moreover, they had heard that Zhao Feng had obtained great fortune and obtained the spiritual pet of Senior Thieving Cat. Speak. What business do you have to discuss with me? Zhao Feng said impatiently. He didn't come back to listen to scolding. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan paused. Zhao Feng's way of doing things was completely different from before. Feng, you've changed? A white-haired old man limped in from the side hall. This white-haired elder was Zhao Feng's grandfather. The original Zhao Feng's parents had both died, and he only had his grandfather since he was young. At his peak, Grandfather Zhao was an Origin Core Realm sovereign, but due to an accident, his cultivation dropped to the half-step Origin Core Realm. Grandfather, I'm no longer the Zhao Feng of the past. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. In his memories, this grandfather Zhao had spent a lot of effort on Zhao Feng. In order to raise Zhao Feng into a peerless genius, Grandfather Zhao had spent all his savings. The original Zhao Feng was filled with respect and gratitude towards Grandfather Zhao. Hearing Zhao Feng's words, Grandfather Zhao paused and looked deeply at Zhao Feng. The grandson in front of him was far different from the one in his memories. Grandfather Zhao couldn't see through this grandson at all. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan also realized that Zhao Feng's attitude could be described with one word: cold. Zhao Feng, I hope you can give us an explanation about divorcing Luo Shuang and make up for the consequences. Zhao Tianyi said. Explanation? I don't want to marry Luo Shuang. Divorcing her is the right thing to do. Zhao Feng spoke the truth. He had wanted to cut off his relationship with his fiancée. Luo Shuang is the daughter of the Luo family. It's your honor to be married to the Luo family. Zhao Tianyi slammed the table and stood up. Hearing this, Zhao Feng looked at him coldly. His cold gaze caused the patriarch of the Zhao clan and the upper echelons to feel a chill down their spines. Meow meow. A silver-gray cat appeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder. The existence of this cat made the upper echelon members of the Zhao clan even more wary. The elder in plain clothes was also present, and he immediately tried to persuade the head of the Zhao clan to stop. With the 8th prince's interference, it's impossible to marry the Luo family. Tianyi, don't worry about this. The elder in plain clothes signaled with his eyes. The upper echelon members calmed themselves down and looked at Zhao Feng in a new light. As for apologizing to the Luo family, don't mention it. Zhao Feng's words shut the mouths of the head of the Zhao clan and the others. The Luo family was the one who broke off the marriage, and Zhao Feng divorcing Luo Shuang was morally sound. I'm afraid that the Luo family won't do anything to us on the surface, but they'll secretly support the Yin family. Grandpa Zhao was worried. Recently, the Yin family had the support of a mysterious force, and they had started to invade the Zhao clan. At this moment, the Zhao clan was in a moment of life and death. The reason I returned this time is to eradicate the Yin clan. Once the Yin family is gone, the Zhao clan will have no opponents in the Yunling sect. A sharp light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. Eliminate the Yin family? The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan were shocked, and they thought, what arrogance. But when they saw how confident Zhao Feng was, the Yinming bird mount and Senior Thieving Cat, they couldn't help but believe him a little. Zhao Feng will believe you. Zhao Tianyi nodded slightly and changed the topic, but if you can't solve the crisis of the family, I hope you can go to the Luo family and apologize. Apologize? In comparison, it'll be easier to eliminate the Luo family. With a playful smile, Zhao Feng left the hall. Arrogant brat. Don't be afraid of the wind cutting your tongue. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan yelled. The youth in front of them ignored them and walked further and further away. In Zhao Feng's room in the Zhao family's castle, creak. An old, staggering figure pushed open the door and entered the house. It was Grandpa Zhao. You weren't Feng. Grandpa Zhao stared at Zhao Feng and said with a trembling voice. Chapter 776. Who are not Feng? Grandpa Zhao's tone was firm as he stared at this grandson that was becoming more and more unfamiliar. Zhao Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his expression calm. If Grandpa Zhao still couldn't see through it, then it would be strange. Zhao Feng didn't plan to hide this matter. It was simply too troublesome to disguise as someone else. Your judgment is correct. I am not Zhao Feng. The real him died a few months ago. Zhao Feng strolled leisurely as he looked at the scenery in the yard. You took over his body and killed him? Grandpa Zhao's eyes were filled with anger and murderous intent. But the body of the man in front of him belonged to his grandson. Grandpa Zhao tried his best to control himself. Furthermore, this stranger was so calm and fearless, causing the old grandpa to subconsciously maintain his rationality. Although I took over his body, the one who killed him was someone else. Zhao Feng expressionlessly waved his hand. A rippling blue light screen appeared in front of the two of them. On the screen, scenes quickly appeared. From Zhao Feng being killed by the people of the Yin family to the process of the purple lightning merging into his body. Yin family, Grandpa Zhao was dazed. He could completely recognize that the people who killed him were from the Yin family. Furthermore, the scenes that Zhao Feng outlined, even the voices of those people could be heard. These bastards of the Yin family are jealous of Feng Er's achievements and actually did such a despicable thing. Grandpa Zhao roared in grief and anger. I'm just borrowing this body to continue living on behalf of your grandson, Zhao Feng concluded. Hearing this, Grandpa Zhao's heart shook. His expression was complicated as he stared at Zhao Feng for a long time, tears flowing down his face. Zhao Feng knew that Grandpa Zhao had spent too much effort on the body of the original Zhao Feng. After a long time, Grandpa Zhao's emotions calmed down a bit. He stared at Zhao Feng. No matter who you are, you must use this body to live well. Of course, you don't need to say this. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. I will live a more exciting life than him. I will also do my best to help him fulfill some of his wishes. Including this time, I will help the Zhao clan resolve the crisis. Zhao Feng's words caused Grandpa Zhao's dim gaze to reignite. At this moment, he seemed to have transferred the hope he had placed on Zhao Feng to Zhao Feng. It wasn't hard for Grandpa Zhao to see that Zhao Feng's strength before possession was no small matter. In just a few months, he had reached the true lord rank. He had tamed the Yinming bird and had a mysterious pet that could instantly kill Great Origin Core Realm sovereign lords. How could an ordinary person do all of this? Grandpa Zhao, this is one of my compensations. A small porcelain bottle appeared in Zhao Feng's hand, and inside it was a clear spring. Compensation? Grandpa Zhao growled, I don't need any compensation. You only need to use this body to carry on Feng Er's dying wish and live on well. Drink it and you will have the life to see. Zhao Feng smiled and said. Grandpa Zhao was slightly puzzled as he drank the water from the bottle. In the next instant, his expression changed dramatically, and he exclaimed, Immortal? Spring? Grandpa Zhao felt that his old body was regaining its vitality. In the past, he had been crippled and his lifespan decreased. He only had less than 10 years of lifespan left. However, after drinking the immortal spring, he felt as if time had returned. His lifespan had increased by 1,000 years. Extending your lifespan is Zhao Feng's wish, as well as the wish you've hidden in your heart. Zhao Feng said slowly. Do. Grandpa Zhao's face went red. Indeed, in the depths of his heart, he once had such an extravagant hope when he carefully nurtured Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had experienced 2 lives, so how could he not see these details? After that, Zhao Feng took out several precious herbs and holy liquids to heal Grandpa Zhao's crippled leg. These precious medicines were used to heal the injuries of kings and emperors. Injuries at the Origin Core realm were obviously nothing to them. In just a short hour, Grandpa Zhao's lifespan had increased by 1,000 years. His crippled leg was healed, and it was only a matter of time before his cultivation recovered. All of this was like a dream. Now that my lifespan has increased by 1,000 years, I can now fight against the Great Origin Core realm and even Void God realm kings. Grandpa Zhao felt good, but he also felt guilty. No matter what, his grandson's death couldn't be changed. The new Zhao Feng before his eyes had changed his fate with a wave of his hand. Furthermore, if he wanted to take revenge for his grandson and revive the Zhao clan, he might need to rely on this man. I hope that more people don't know about this secret. Grandpa Zhao had a request. If this matter was spread out, it wouldn't benefit the Zhao clan at all. Zhao Feng had the same intention. On the same day, the upper echelon of the Zhao clan held a secret meeting and invited Zhao Feng. Feng is the biggest hope of the Yunling Zhao clan. The Yin family definitely won't give up on him. Family head Zhao Tianyi said. At this point in time, the upper echelon of the Zhao clan knew that Zhao Feng had been assassinated by the Yin family while he was in the clan. As long as Zhao Feng was still alive, the Zhao clan would have a chance to rise again no matter how badly they lost. Zhao Feng was a once-in-a-thousand-years genius of the Zhao clan, and he had even joined the 10,000 Sacred Clan. In the past few months, this genius had become stronger and stronger, and he was becoming more and more of a threat. It could be predicted. With Zhao Feng's outstanding performance, he might become a disciple of a king, and the divine illusion dimension might be his turning point. You can use me as bait? Zhao Feng smiled and said. His goal this time was to destroy the Yin family. The next morning, Zhao Feng flew to the top of a mountain several hundred miles away from the Zhao family castle by himself. The mountain peak was shrouded in clouds and mist. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, the sacred lightning body, and the wind lightning technique. He didn't need to cultivate the 10,000 divine thoughts technique again this time. As long as his soul power recovered, the 10,000 divine thoughts technique would return to its peak. This was the same logic as Emperor intent. This was because the core of Zhao Feng's soul and consciousness had been placed in the god's spiritual eye. The first time the god's spiritual eye entered his body wasn't considered possession. His soul didn't change, that was the core. Zhao Feng remembered that the first time the god's spiritual eye entered his body, it lost almost all of its life force. Under the nourishment of his body, the god's spiritual eye started to recover and change his body. Several days later, Zhao Feng's cultivation had increased once again, and he easily reached the late-stage True Lord rank. The 5-elemental wind lightning technique had stabilized at the 4th level, and the water of wind lightning within his body was nourishing his sacred lightning body. However, it would take some time for the sacred lightning body to break through to the 4th level. Once my sacred lightning body breaks through to the 4th level, I'll be able to dominate the origin core realm with just my body alone. Zhao Feng was filled with expectation. The 4th level of the sacred lightning body was indeed a dividing line, and it was comparable to the 4th to 6th levels of the 5-elemental wind lightning technique. On this night whoosh, more than a dozen black figures appeared in the clouds. That brat can cultivate as if there's no one else around. This is obviously the Zhao clan's bait. However, our strength far surpasses the Zhao clan's, so we can take them all out at once. The weakest of these black figures was at the late-stage small origin core realm. The two at the front were a male and female, and they were both half-step void god realms. Mu Yu, you lead the team to deal with the upper echelon of the Zhao clan. I'll go and kill that brat myself. One of the tall and muscular youths said. Gu Hong, he's just a measly true lord rank. Do you need to do it yourself? One of the great origin core realms said. The tall and muscular youth, Gu Hong, said, according to some reports, this brat is extremely weird and has many secrets on him. Gu Hong's eyes flickered with a fierce light, mixed with a trace of greed. A junior at the true human rank had changed so much in just a few months. No one would believe him if he said he didn't have any secrets. Go. Gu Hong ordered, and more than a dozen figures leaped toward the mountain Zhao Feng was on. The other leader, Mu Yu, was a slender female whose cultivation had also reached the half-step void god realm. She led 3 great origin core realms and 9 late-stage and peak small origin core realms. Enemy attack. The black figures were discovered when they got within 200 to 300 miles of the mountain Zhao Feng was on. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan within 100 to 200 miles of Zhao Feng's mountain leaped out and started to attack. Kill. Gu Hong and Mu Yu were two half-step void god realms. On the other hand, the Zhao clan only had one half-step void god realm Grand Elder. The other origin core realms weren't as strong as the other side. Watch out. The other side has two half-step void god realms. The voice of the Zhao clan's Grand Elder pierced through the night. The two half-step void god realms from the Yin family were external reinforcements. Only a third of the group was from the Yin family. Old bastard, stay here. Mu Yu, who was a half-step king, slashed out with her silver sword, creating a cloud of lightning that instantly flattened several mountains. An upper echelon of the Zhao clan hiding nearby was instantly sliced in half. The Grand Elder of the Zhao clan could only go over. However, Gu Hong, who was even stronger, charged toward Zhao Feng's mountain by himself. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan were suppressed and couldn't stop him. Grandfather Zhao had appeared behind Zhao Feng. His weathered face was filled with worry, and his voice trembled as he looked at the approaching half-step void god realm. Meow. The little thieving cat jumped onto his shoulder. Let me. Zhao Feng extended his hand and stopped the little thieving cat. After saying this, his black hair turned purple and danced wildly in the night wind. Illusion City Maze. A purple mist slowly spun in Zhao Feng's left eye. Shua. The scenery of this world underwent an earth-shattering change. What's going on? The experts on the Yin family's side were trapped in an ancient, foggy city of illusions, spinning in circles on the spot. These people seemed to be separated by an invisible maze. No matter how hard they attacked, they were only able to stay within a few yards of them. Illusion City Maze, that's a domain-level illusion. Zhao Feng sat on the ground. Although his soul intent had only recovered to 1/10 of its peak, the eye bloodline technique of his god's spiritual eye was able to deal a lot of damage to normal kings. Blood-curdling screams could be heard continuously in the illusory maze. The experts of the Zhao clan weren't affected by the domain-level Illusion City maze at all. Half the time it took to make tea later, all the experts of the Yin family were dead. Zhao Feng still sat on the ground and didn't move from the beginning to the end. Grandfather Zhao was stunned. He only saw Zhao Feng stare with his left eye, and all the experts of the Yin family just stood there, waiting to be killed. Chapter 777. Near the Zhao family castle, a battle of life and death had ended so quickly like this. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan felt as if they were in a dream. Everyone instinctively turned around and looked at Zhao Feng, who was on the peak of a mountain. The young man had a head of faint purple hair that danced in the wind. His eyes were closed as he went back to cultivating. Although they didn't see the details, instinct and judgment told them that the key to this battle was this youth. It's Feng, who turned the situation around. He saved the family. Grandfather Zhao woke up and exclaimed. His beard trembled as he was filled with pride and excitement. Others did not see the details of the process, but he, who was close at hand, saw it clearly. Suddenly the youth on the peak and the thieving cat on his shoulder became even more mysterious in everyone's eyes. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan had shock and respect in their eyes. The Zhao clan originally didn't have any chance of winning this battle, and it was a situation where 9 out of 10 would die. But in the battle, the Yin family's experts all seemed to have been bewitched, and they were at their mercy. Search for the survivors. Organize the spoils of war. The Grand Elder of the Zhao clan, who was a half-step king, ordered. This time, the cultivations of the Yin family were all at the late-stage small origin core realm, and there were several great origin core realms and half-step kings. Therefore, the spoils of war were extremely plentiful. Feng, you can handle these spoils of war? Grandfather Zhao walked up and started to organize the spoils of war. Being the grandfather, he obviously had to get the spoils of war for his grandson. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned over the spoils of war and was slightly disappointed. He picked out a few water elemental resources and some treasures of decent value. He might not be interested in ordinary treasures, or they might not be of any use to him. In this period of time, the Zhao family had sent people to search for the remaining enemies of the Yin family, targeting those that had escaped and the spies. 2,000 miles away in an old city, How is this possible? They were completely wiped out? The burly youth in a black robe was slightly dazed and bewildered. If Zhao Feng was here, he would definitely recognize this young man as Luo Zun. Lord King, none of the people who participated in the attack managed to escape. The Zhao clan is still searching for the Yin family scouts. A black-robed man from the shadow-killing sect said with a frightened expression. As for the truth of the battle, those who did not participate had no idea at all. I think that Zhao Feng must have had help from an expert. As soon as he came back, the Zhao clan set up a bait to ambush him. The black-clothed man said carefully. More than half of the Yin family's upper echelon had been mobilized for this attack. In addition, the Luo family had also mobilized some people. Luo Zun even volunteered to be in charge of everything in secret. But he didn't expect such a powerful lineup, which could threaten the survival of the Zhao clan, was completely wiped out in such a short time. For a moment, Luo Zun fell into deep thought. How could he not see that there was a 99% chance that there was an expert helping Zhao Feng? During the battle just now, Luo Zun's spiritual sense had probed. However, his spiritual sense was disturbed by a mysterious power, and he didn't know why his subordinates were dying one by one. The center of the mysterious power came from Zhao Feng, who was the bait. Retreat to the Yin family first. Luo Zun's eyes were sharp as he suddenly thought of something. After this battle, the majority of the Yin family's elites were injured. The Zhao clan would definitely take this chance to destroy the Yin family. Once the Yin family was destroyed, the Zhao clan would be the strongest force in the Yunling region. At that time, if the Luo family wanted to interfere with the Yunling region, they would be too far away. The current situation, Luo Zun and the Luo family could only act in secret and couldn't show themselves. This was because the Zhao clan and the Luo family were connected by marriage. It was the Luo family who wanted to break off the marriage first, and the Zhao clan wrote the divorce letter later. This matter had already spread outside. On top of that, Zhao Feng was a core disciple of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, and it was only a matter of time before he became a core disciple. If the Luo family attacked the Zhao clan for no reason, Zhao Feng could ask the 10,000 Sacred Clan to take action, or he could report it to the Duke's palace. Due to morals and the rules of the game, the Luo family couldn't do anything. Otherwise, even if they succeeded, the 8th prince's reputation would be affected. If the 8th prince wanted to become the crown prince and the future sacred emperor, he couldn't leave behind any obvious evidence. At the peak of the Yang family castle, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and cultivated the 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kuan's sacred lightning body. It was as if the incredible battle just now had nothing to do with him. Feng, this battle hurt the Yin family, and they lost all their elites. Now is the best chance to destroy the Yin family. Zhao Tianyi's eyes twinkled with the flames of ambition. The upper echelon of the family were filled with battle intent, and they looked forward to the moment when they could unify the Yunling region. Okay, let's go. Zhao Feng nodded his head and agreed. On the same night, the Zhao family fortress gathered their elites. There were 100 or 200 of them who rode on flying beasts or void ships as they charged toward the Yin family. The Yin family was in the northern part of the Yunling region, while the Zhao clan was in the southern part. The two families had competed for many years in the north and south. At the break of dawn, the elites of the Zhao clan charged into the Yin family's main camp, Yin family castle. When they arrived, the Yin family was already waiting. The entire Yin family castle had activated its defensive array, and the atmosphere was solemn. The experts of the Yin family castle had expressions of despair, and their battle intent was low. The strength of the two sides wasn't on the same level. At the peak of the Cloud Sea, the Zhao clan's speed is faster than I imagined. The Luo family won't be able to help in time. Luo Zun looked down from the sky. His divine sense was extremely restrained as he observed the Zhao clan. He focused on Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat on his shoulder. He didn't know if it was intentional or not. Zhao Feng smirked and glanced in his direction. Luo Zun's heart shook. How could a junior at the true lord rank sense the divine sense of a void god realm? If this was just a coincidence, then what happened next made Luo Zun's heart shake. Meow. The little cat on Zhao Feng's shoulder glanced lazily and disdainfully toward Luo Zun's direction. How can this cat? Luo Xun felt that all of this had toppled his common sense. He was certain that Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat knew of his existence. What was worse was that the human and cat knew of his existence but acted as if they didn't see him. Thinking back to the weirdness of the battle just now, Luo Xun felt that the human and cat weren't simple. They definitely had some secrets. The 200 elites of the Zhao clan unleashed a fierce attack. 1. The defensive array of the Yin family castle started to shake. At this moment in time, the Yin family was lacking experts and had lost their backbone. Back, the southwest corner. Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and suddenly commanded the battle. The Zhao family trusted him without a doubt and immediately attacked the northwest corner of the Yin family city. The northwest corner is the flaw in the Yin family castle's array and defense. Luo Xun couldn't help but take a deep breath. His king-level divine sense had only found this out after inspecting it. On the other hand, Zhao Feng on the Yinming bird immediately saw the flaw. The array in the northwest corner soon started to crack. Helplessness and despair appeared on the faces of those within the Yin family castle. I can't let the Zhao clan succeed so easily. Luo Xun had a cold expression. I need to at least test out Zhao Feng's strength. After saying this, he hid in the clouds and circulated his king intent. A faintly discernible magnificent power instantly condensed at the crack in the array and blocked the waves of attacks. Luo Xun's attacks were hidden. Only those close to the half-step void god realm would be able to sense it. However, as long as Luo Xun didn't attack, the Zhao clan wouldn't have any evidence. The pure magnificent power was hidden and didn't show any characteristics. Zhao Feng snickered coldly. This level of attack couldn't stop the Zhao clan at all. Immediately, he then commanded the Zhao clan to split into 4 groups and attack different directions of the Yin family castle. Magnificent power was the power of a void god realm king merging with heaven and earth and using the power of heaven and earth. That Luo Xun can't split the magnificent power of heaven and earth into several parts. Unless he's cultivated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and has reached a very high level in the Tao of Soul. Zhao Feng had a confident expression. The magnificent power of a king was targeted at a single dimension. Even at his peak, he could only split the emperor's magnificent power into a few parts. Zhao Feng could also use the magnificent power of heaven and earth, but he didn't want to reveal it yet. This brat? The expression of Luo Xun, who was on the clouds, changed dramatically. If he covered the entire Yin family castle with his magnificent power, it would be too obvious and spread out. Crack. Boom. The experts of the Zhao clan soon charged into the Yin family castle. Meow meow. The little thieving cat turned into a silver-gray streak of light and charged into the Yin family castle. Arg! Several screams sounded as the upper echelon of the Yin family became souls under the little thieving cat's claws. The situation couldn't be stopped. The people of the Yin family castle gave up on the array and city and started to retreat. The elites of the Zhao clan were already prepared and started to chase after them. What followed was a massacre. Zhao Feng didn't even need to do anything, he only needed to keep an eye on Luo Xun. Preposterous. Luo Xun floated in the air with an ugly expression, and he felt extremely frustrated. However, with the destruction of the Yin family, the situation around the Yunling area had already been decided. Unless a void god realm king appeared and interfered, or the Luo family attacked directly. However, Zhao Feng had the 10,000 sacred clan, which was close to a 3-star power, behind him. Normal people wouldn't interfere so easily. What worried Luo Xun the most was how immeasurable Zhao Feng was. Even when the Zhao clan took over the Yin family castle, Luo Xun still couldn't see through Zhao Feng's strength. He couldn't even see through the little cat. Next, the Zhao clan started to take the spoils of war from the Yin family castle. The Zhao clan still had the right to choose. There's too little useful soul Tao resources. However, I did get some water Tao resources and body strengthening resources. Zhao Feng organized the spoils of war. If the Zhao clan wanted to unify the Yunling area, they would need to take most of the Yin family's resources, which Zhao Feng couldn't take. If he wanted to help Zhao Feng recover, it would be best if he had king-level soul Tao resources. However, Putting aside the Yin family, such Soul Dao resources were extremely rare even in 2-star and 3-star sections. Luo Xun, I advise the Luo family to stop. Otherwise, the Luo family might become the next Yin family. A light voice suddenly traveled to the clouds. Luo Xun, who was about to leave, froze. That voice was Zhao Feng's warning. Chapter 778. Luo Xun's figure that was about to leave suddenly froze, and shock appeared on his face. Because Zhao Feng's warning sounded in his mind. Furthermore, he didn't feel any signs beforehand. To be able to do this meant that Luo Xun's soul level was at least slightly higher than his. True Lord rank bastard. Do you think you can threaten the Luo family with the help of a measly king? Luo Xun suppressed the shock in his heart as his expression darkened. His divine sense message landed next to Zhao Feng's ear, but it wasn't able to reach Zhao Feng's soul level. This scene caused his heart to tremble. He couldn't sense Zhao Feng's soul level at all. From his senses, Zhao Feng was like a dead ocean. Although Luo Xun was domineering, he was extremely cautious. Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat's unfathomable aura made him wary. Furthermore, the Luo family couldn't directly attack the Zhao clan right now. Then let's try. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and acted like he wasn't going to do anything. What a brat. In the true Great Gon Lord dynasty, the measly Yunling Zhao clan isn't even a chess piece. At its peak, the 10,000 sacred clans still had a place, but now. Luo Xun stood proudly in the clouds as a cold smile appeared on his face. Vaguely, there was a trace of arrogance and superiority in his words. Luo Xun was using his own method to warn and counterattack Zhao Feng and destroy the latter's psychological support. In the Great Gon Lord dynasty, the Luo family and the Zhao clan weren't even on the stage, and the declining 10,000 sacred clan only had a tiny bit of power left. However, he, Luo Xun, was connected to the 8th prince of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. The Great Gon Imperials were the true rulers of the continent zone and the oceans around it. Luo Xun. Faint ripples appeared in Zhao Feng's heart. Not only was Luo Xun talented, but he also managed to find a place to stir up the tides in this turbulent era. His talent and potential were even valued by the royal family. Zhao Feng. Luo Xun's tone was filled with confidence. It's not too late if you turn back now. Your Zhao clan can only live for a year at most. Maybe you can live for a while under the protection of the 10,000 sacred clan, but in the end, you will die in the river of history. When Zhao Feng heard this, a strange feeling arose in his heart. He was the one who warned Luo Xun, but in the end, Luo Xun turned the tables on him and talked about the bigger picture of the dynasty, asking him to repent. It was as though Luo Xun was the victor of history. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and did not say anything else. His warning had already been delivered. It was up to the other party whether to listen or not. But from the looks of it, Luo Xun was so confident that he didn't listen. Between the clouds, Luo Xun looked slightly gloomy as he flew toward the Luo family. Zhao Feng's willpower was beyond his imagination. If his little sister could marry him, it would be a great help to him and the Luo family. Even if his little sister was just a concubine, the Luo family would be willing. Lady Shui, I fell in love with her at first sight, but... The 8th prince smiled bitterly. Is Shui not willing? Luo Xun thought of a problem. The Luo family and his brother had never tried to get Luo Shui's opinion regarding this marriage and the 8th prince's interference. From Luo Xun's perspective, being able to marry the 8th prince, even if it was just as a concubine, was something that normal girls would want. Furthermore, the 8th prince had promised that he would do his best to make Luo Shui his first wife. Within a room near a mountain and a lake in the Luo family, Father, Big Brother, when did I agree to break off the marriage? Did you ever try to get my opinion? A girl with long hair and a green dress started to cry. The girl's skin was as white as jade, and she was as beautiful as a fairy. She was like a lotus that had been washed by the rain. Facing the girls crying, Luo Xun and his father looked at each other in silence. Their father and Luo Xun both loved Luo Shui a lot. However, the head of the Luo family and Luo Xun had never tried to get Luo Shui's opinion on breaking off the marriage. As a result, Luo Shui's reputation had been ruined by Zhao Feng's letter of divorce. A wave of guilt appeared in their hearts, but it was soon extinguished. Compared to this, being related to the 8th prince and the Imperials was something that the Luo family and Luo Zun couldn't resist. The next day, Zhao Feng returned to the Yang family castle and continued to cultivate in his courtyard. After destroying the Yin family, Zhao Feng had accumulated a large amount of resources and body-strengthening medicines, which was enough for him to cultivate for a while. At this moment in time, his cultivation had reached the late-stage True Lord rank, and it was still steadily increasing. However, he still needed some motivation to break through to the 4th level of the Golden Kun's sacred lightning body. Seeing this, Zhao Feng put most of his effort into cultivating the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. The higher the level of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique, the more effective it would be. Several days later, Zhao Feng's cultivation was close to the peak True Lord rank, and his 5 elemental wind lightning technique was also close to the peak 4th level. My Golden Kun's sacred lightning body should be able to break through to the 4th level in another half a month, and my cultivation should be able to recover to the origin core realm in 2 months. Zhao Feng murmured in his heart. The reconstruction plan was carried out in an orderly manner. When Zhao Feng returned to the Void God realm, his foundation would be much stronger than his previous life, and it would increase his chances of breaking through to the mystic light realm. On this day, Zhao Feng's cultivation was interrupted. Feng, the Luo family has sent people over and they're looking for you. Grandfather Zhao hurried over. The Luo family? Zhao Feng got up and walked out of the courtyard. A while later, Zhao Feng saw the representatives of the Luo family in a side hall of the Zhao clan. There were a total of 3 people from the Luo family. The one in the middle was a primal core realm old man. He had a fat face and big ears, and he had the gift of gab. Zhao Feng, I'm representing the family head to invite you to the Luo family's banquet to discuss the marriage. The family head will think that you're just being childish, and I heard that Lady Luo Shui has a good impression of you. The fat-faced old man chattered on. Zhao Feng and company from the Zhao clan were stunned. Zhao Feng obviously wasn't interested in the banquet, and he didn't want to go. Furthermore, only Zhao Feng was invited to the banquet. Feng, this is probably a scheme of the Luo family. The upper echelons of the Zhao clan were worried. Grandfather Zhao suspected that this was a trap. I've already written the divorce letter. There's no need to find out. Zhao Feng said with a frown. However, the fat-faced elder wasn't willing to give up. He wanted to use his silver tongue to persuade Zhao Feng and promised him all kinds of dreams. I'll be leaving. Zhao Feng didn't bother with him. He left the 3 representatives of the Luo family behind and prepared to cultivate again. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Seeing this, the fat-faced elder was finally angry. The Luo family is giving you face by inviting you. A small Zhao clan is like an egg hitting a rock in front of the Luo family. The fat-faced elder scolded and lectured at the same time. Zhao Feng vaguely understood that this was a scheme of the Luo family. If he injured this person, the Luo family would have a reason to use force. At a certain moment, the sound of flying came from the sky, accompanied by the intent of a half-step king. Is Zhao Feng here? A general in blue robes floated in the air above the Zhao clan and pushed out a shiny silver token. Wang, the token expanded to 1,000 feet and was surrounded by purple dragon patterns. A mysterious and unfathomable monarch dragon might connected with the dynasty's luck in the vast universe. Lord Token, some of the upper echelons of the Zhao clan, including the fat-faced elder, were stunned. Under the noble order, everyone had the illusion that they were facing a monarch, and they instinctively felt a sense of submission. Greetings, Lord. The upper echelons of the Zhao clan and the fat-faced elder bowed respectfully. Those with low cultivation even knelt down instinctively. I am. Zhao Feng walked over with a surprised expression. Zhao Feng, the Lord Palace wants you to be a guest. The blue-robed general's gaze landed on Zhao Feng, and he faintly smiled in a polite manner. The Lord Palace wants me to be a guest? The fat-faced elder and the other 2 from the Luo family seemed to choke. Chapter 779. At this moment, Zhao Feng had received invitations from both the Luo family and the Duke's mansion. At this moment, the expressions of the three old men, who had been pestering Xiaochen earlier, were extremely marvelous. "General, I also want to go to the Marquis's mansion, but these friends from the Luo clan are forcing me to attend their banquet." Zhao Feng put on an innocent look and sighed bitterly. Hearing those words, the faces of the three people from the Luo clan darkened. They nearly vomited blood and cursed out loud. "What Luo family?" The half-step king in blue robe's face darkened. The king's token in his hand radiated the might of a monarch's dragon blessing. Under the effect of the token, the demi-king warrior in blue robes could release the aura of a king warrior. No, Your Excellency, you've misunderstood." The chubby old man was scared out of his wits. Even if he was given 100 guts, he still wouldn't dare to snatch away the noble guests of the Duke's mansion. The Duke Palace was the governing body of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. It was equivalent to controlling a large island zone's territory. In terms of status, that Marquis Nanfeng was the younger brother of the current Qian Emperor. Even the 8th prince had to call him uncle when he saw him. Even a 3-star sect would not dare to provoke such a great figure. In name, the Luo family and 10,000 Sacred Clan were all in Marquis Nanfeng's territory. "Young Master Zhao, it won't be too late for you to come to the Luo family after you've gone to the Marquis's mansion," the fat old man said with a flattering smile. "That's good." The blue-robed general smiled calmly. Immediately, Zhao Feng set off with the blue-robed general, leaving behind the Zhao clan and the Luo clan. What happened? Zhao Feng was invited by the Marquis's mansion? This matter must be reported to the Patriarch and young master as soon as possible. Looks like I'll have to think about how to deal with Zhao Feng. The three people from the Luo clan looked terrified. Once Zhao Feng was connected to the Duke's palace, his backing would be even more terrifying than the 10,000 Sacred Clan. After all, the Duke's office was the governing body of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. A single thought from Duke Nanfeng could decide the fate of any force in this region. Half a day later, a magnificent mansion located in a forest full of flowers was imprinted in Zhao Feng's mind. From far away, Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye could sense the aura of a dynasty's draconic providence gathering. "This is the Duke's palace?" Zhao Feng was secretly amazed. Inside the mansion, there were lakes, gardens, waterfalls, mountains, all kinds of scenery, similar to the layout of the demigod Forgotten Garden. Rather than calling it a mansion, it was more appropriate to call it a small private kingdom. "General, who exactly is it that invited me here?" Zhao Feng finally spoke. Only after flying for so long did he take the initiative to ask. A look of admiration appeared on the blue-robed general's face. This 14 or 15-year-old genius beast tamer's endurance far exceeded his imagination. "You'll find out soon enough. Lord Wang Ho is also in the residence. If you're lucky, you might be able to meet him." The blue-robed general smiled but did not directly reply. Zhao Feng didn't ask any more questions. He was rather interested in the nobility system of the Great Qian dynasty. According to what he knew, from top to bottom, the nobility system of the Lord dynasty was emperor, duke, marquis, count, son, and male. The highest emperor was the Great Qian sacred emperor. In addition, the retired emperor and the empress were, in principle, also at the level of emperor or semi-emperor. Below the emperor were dukes, also known as grand dukes or duke kings. Dukes were extremely rare in the entire Great Qian dynasty. Some of them were grand dukes that controlled entire provinces, and their cultivation was usually at the mystic light realm. Some were even the uncles of the Great Qian sacred emperor. Below grand dukes were the marquis, which was a very high level of nobility. They usually controlled a large island zone or several island zones. Duke Nanfeng was one of the top nobles amongst the marquis. Some people might say that the nobility of the Lord dynasty had no real meaning apart from status. However, if that was the case, it would be a huge mistake. Because the nobility of the Lord dynasty corresponded to the providence of the Lord dynasty. The higher the nobility, the more providence one could enjoy. For example, the current sacred emperor of the Great Qian dynasty could enjoy the fortune of the entire dynasty and the vast territory of the world. With the support of this providence, even a trash with a useless spiritual body could easily break through to the void god realm as long as he became the great Qian sacred emperor. Furthermore, the talent of the imperial's bloodline was the best in the great Qian dynasty. Almost every sacred emperor had the cultivation of an emperor or even a mystic light realm's sacred lord. From this, one could see how mysterious the Lord dynasty's providence was. The other nobles below the emperor could also enjoy a certain amount of the Lord dynasty's providence. The power of providence was a mysterious, ethereal, and invisible force that could boost one's cultivation and increase various factors that were beneficial to oneself. As long as one's providence was strong enough, it was possible to change one's fate. Therefore, many experts in the great Qian Lord dynasty wanted to obtain a noble title. Therefore, as long as a Lord dynasty is established within the territory of the great Qian Lord dynasty and affects the Lord dynasty's providence, the great Qian Lord dynasty will sense it. Zhao Feng understood. This information was only known to him after he had integrated into the environment here. Back then, the great Guang Lord dynasty of the Azure Flower continent was destroyed in one night because of this reason. As long as the great Qian Lord dynasty sensed that a Lord dynasty was being established, it would give out orders and missions for the sects or Lord dynasties in that area to take care of it. Young Sir Zhao, please wait a moment. The general in blue brought Zhao Feng to a building that was covered in fallen flowers. Zhao Feng stood there and inspected it with interest. The general in blue soon came out and said with a smile, "The princess invites you in." Princess? Zhao Feng paused for a moment and started to search through his memories. He didn't think too much about it. He walked slowly towards the romantic courtyard that was covered in peach blossoms. As soon as he entered, Zhao Feng bumped into someone. It was an elegant male wearing a long robe. "It's you." Zhao Feng and the elegant male spoke at the same time and looked at each other in surprise. "Eighth Prince." Zhao Feng. The two blurted out. "Brother Zhao, it seems we're fated." The eighth prince regained his composure and smiled elegantly. Before he left, he heard that the princess wanted to hire a beast tamer, but he didn't pay much attention to it. "You two know each other?" A clear and beautiful voice like a bell came from the depths of a pink courtyard. The eighth prince shook his head and smiled before walking toward the building with Zhao Feng. "Weird, what kind of background does this Zhao Feng have to know the eighth prince?" The general in blue bowed and left with a surprised expression. Stepping on the petals on the ground, Zhao Feng and the eighth prince walked to the building in the depths of the building. In front of the pavilion stood a young girl with a dignified appearance and a noble temperament. The girl was wearing a beautiful pleated dress. She was young but extremely beautiful, and her face was as white as snow. At first glance, she seemed like a noble princess from the fairy tales. "Princess?" Zhao Feng suddenly felt that she looked familiar. The girl in front of him soon matched the girl in purple that he met in the Wuyo forest. At that time, Zhao Feng's target was the Yinming bird, and he only casually glanced at the girl and the others. He didn't expect this girl to be the princess of the Duke's palace. In terms of relationship, this princess and the eighth prince should be cousins. "Zhao Feng, you're indeed the mysterious beast tamer I've been looking for." The princess smiled sweetly and said with a joyful expression. They both looked to be around 14 or 15, so there didn't seem to be any generation gap. Seeing Zhao Feng's surprised expression, the princess quickly introduced herself. "My name is Zhou Yuqing." "Princess Yuqing." Zhao Feng nodded his head in surprise, but he didn't act too restrained. "Yuqing, how did you know this Zhao Feng?" The eighth prince asked calmly. He was originally planning to leave, but he changed his mind when he saw that the person Princess Yuqing wanted to see was Zhao Feng. In the Wuyo forest, Zhou Yuqing had a slightly excited expression as she told Zhao Feng about how she easily tamed the Yinming bird in the Wuyo forest. She even exaggerated a bit. The eighth prince's eyes twinkled as he listened. From the looks of it, this Zhao Feng specializes in the Soul Dao. The corner of the eighth prince's mouth curled up. The reason why he stayed was because he wanted to understand more about Zhao Feng. For some reason, when the eighth prince saw Zhao Feng, he would connect him to Exen Wuheng, who was as powerful as a grandmaster. Exin Wuheng was a genius that had risen in the continent's dynasty in the past few years. With the cultivation of a half-step king, Exin Wuheng was temporarily ranked 39th on the Great Gan Imperial ranking. The Great Gan Imperial ranking included the top 500 geniuses of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. The top 100 were mostly taken by the Imperials, the 8 big families, and the 3 or 4-star sections. Exin Wuheng didn't belong to any family, but he was ranked 31st with the cultivation of a half-step king. His cultivation was at the bottom of the top 200 geniuses on the imperial ranking. "Princess Yuqing, you didn't call me here just to see me, right?" Zhao Feng said. Hearing that, a streak of red flashed across Princess Yuqing's face. That day in the Weo forest, she couldn't forget the mysterious purple-haired youth who subdued the Yinming bird with just a wave of his hand. That youth, with his flowing purple hair, handsome face, and mysterious cold temperament, often appeared in her mind. Being a girl around the age of 14 or 15, she worshipped heroes, especially when facing such a handsome and mysterious youth of the same age. In this life, Zhao Feng had an even better appearance, and a man who gave off a good aura was even more lethal to women. "Zhao Feng, I called you here to ask you for a favor." Princess Yuqing calmed down and returned to being elegant and beautiful as she gave a faint smile. Oh, the 8th prince's interest was piqued. Something that even the Duke's palace couldn't solve couldn't be simple. He could use this chance to understand more about Zhao Feng. "Look." Princess Yuqing had a mysterious expression as a transparent glass bottle appeared in her hand. A jade-like silkworm could be faintly seen in the bottle. It was around the size of a thumb and had a pair of half-transparent wings. The little silkworm was like a piece of jade. It was fat, but it was in a deep sleep, and its aura was extremely weak. Even though it was stored in a special bottle, the jade-like little silkworm still exuded a faint aura of the primordial age. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped out and stood on Zhao Feng's shoulder as its eyes spun. Cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The 8th prince couldn't help but exclaim when he saw the little silkworm, Yuqing. "This seems to be the legendary insect from the 10,000 ancient races that your father treasures?" Chapter 780. Yuqing. "This seems to be the legendary insect from the 10,000 ancient races that your father treasures?" The 8th prince exclaimed. The bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races was a legend even in the continent zone. Furthermore, this was a rare insect with a bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races. Zhao Feng had seen the 10,000 ancient races in the demigod Forgotten Garden. The bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races had been scattered across heaven and earth after the ancient desolate continent was destroyed. Now the original races of the 10,000 ancient races had almost all disappeared. Usually, the bloodlines of rare insects and beasts are many times purer than those of humans, and the degree of atavism is also higher. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he inspected the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. This cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was from the original race of the 10,000 ancient races. Although it was only ranked in the 700s, it was even stronger than the mystic ice-scaled race bloodline from Zhao Feng's previous life. Bloodlines were ranked, but the purity of the bloodline and atavism affected one's strength even more. For example, Zhao Yufei had the bloodline of the spiritual race, which was ranked 19th. If her bloodline was fully awakened or even half awakened, heaven and earth would shake, and all sorts of phenomenons would appear wherever she went. If it was the ancient race that was ranked first and had a connate god-demon body, the fan universe wouldn't be able to withstand it. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly is one of the 4 most beautiful races of the 10,000 ancient races. Its ability is extremely unique, and it can change between being a silkworm, a chrysalis, and a butterfly. It's one of the rare races that can have 3 life forms. The 8th prince admired the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly that was like a piece of art. Such a precious treasure was fatally tempting even to him. However, the 8th prince had a hint of regret on his face. Due to some reason, this cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly is in a deep sleep. Zhao Feng stared at it for a while. It could be said that the life force of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was at its lowest, and it had even stopped temporarily. Zhao Feng, This cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly has been sleeping for many years. It's been like this since I was born. To date, no beast tamer has been able to awaken it. Princess Yuqing's eyes twinkled. She looked expectant. Last time in the Huio forest, Zhao Feng's beast-taming ability and elegance had left a deep impression on her. Zhao Feng immediately understood. As it turned out, Princess Yuqing had called him here to solve this huge problem. Little sister Yuqing, this is your father's treasured beast. How can you let a tamed beast try it? If something goes wrong... The 8th prince's expression changed again. This cloud silkworm immortal butterfly couldn't even be awakened by so many skilled beast tamers, let alone a young beast tamer like Zhao Feng. Even if it was in a deep slumber, the value of the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly was immeasurable. It was very attractive even to emperors and mystic light realm's sacred lords. I feel that he is different from other beast tamers. That's why I stole father's cloud silkworm immortal butterfly. I just want to help father increase his strength. Princess Yuqing's bright eyes became slightly red and watery. The 8th prince couldn't bear to scold her pitiful expression. Furthermore, he also wanted to test Zhao Feng's strength. In his heart, he was even willing to see something happen to Zhao Feng and make Marquis Nanfeng angry. If Zhao Feng offended Marquis Nanfeng, even the 10,000 sacred clan wouldn't be able to protect him. Zhao Feng, do you think this cloud silkworm immortal butterfly can be saved? Princess Yuqing had a pitiful expression. Zhao Feng could feel the hope and confidence in her eyes. He couldn't help but wonder why this princess had so much hope and confidence in him. Seeing this, Zhao Feng nodded his head faintly and started to inspect the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly. Meow meow. The little thieving cat also circled the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly and waved its paws. During this process, a misty purple light flashed through Zhao Feng's left eye as he inspected the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly within the glass bottle. This cloud silkworm immortal butterfly must have gone through some sort of battle and used up a lot of its life force. Zhao Feng said calmly. Hearing that, Princess Yuqing's eyes lit up, and she nodded her head. That's right. The 8th prince revealed a weird expression. Zhao Feng's judgment was very accurate with just one glance. He was sure that Zhao Feng didn't know about this cloud silkworm immortal butterfly before this. It lost its ancient essence, and its soul is in a deep sleep. Even worse, it has activated its self-protection mechanism. Normal external forces will be unable to touch it and will even reject it. Zhao Feng continued to analyze. He saw everything about the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly through his god's spiritual eye. Even normal emperors and sacred lords wouldn't be able to do this. At the very least, it wouldn't be as clear and precise. This is very close to the analysis of the Grandmaster Beast Tamer from the Tianliang province. Princess Yuqing was overjoyed. From the looks of it, Zhao Feng's skill as a beast tamer wasn't any weaker than the Grandmaster Beast Tamer. At that time, the Grandmaster Beast Tamer spent a long time to come up with a conclusion similar to Zhao Feng's. This Zhao Feng. The 8th prince's expression changed. From the current situation, it seemed that Zhao Feng was the real deal. Princess Yuqing's face was filled with expectation and admiration. Even if Zhao Feng couldn't awaken the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly, his talent in beast taming was worth admiring. Was there a second person in the Lord dynasty who was as young and handsome as a Grandmaster Beast Tamer? At this moment in time, Princess Yuqing couldn't help but have a wish. It didn't matter if Zhao Feng succeeded or not, she had to help her father recruit this talent. Zhao Feng, do you have a way to awaken the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly? Princess Yuqing's face was red like a half-ripe apple. I'm only 50% confident. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. He originally didn't care too much about this matter. However, his curiosity towards the mysteries of the ancient era and Princess Yuqing's purity moved him. 50% confident? The 8th prince's eyebrows rose up, and Princess Yuqing's mouth opened slightly. The former was suspicious, and the latter was in disbelief. 50% confident. Many skilled beast tamers had entered the Duke's palace, but none of them dared to say that they weren't 50% confident. Putting aside 50%, they didn't even say 30% or 20%. Even if it was only 10%, it was still a sliver of hope. 50% confident. What kind of hope was this? If I want to help, I'll need the corresponding materials and payment, Zhao Feng said. This meant that he wouldn't help for free. Of course. As long as you can awaken it, I'll do my best to fulfill any request you have. Princess Yuqing nodded her head. Today, I'm only doing a preliminary test. If there's a chance of awakening it, I'll go back and prepare more, Zhao Feng said. After saying that, he closed his eyes and merged his consciousness into the dimension of his left eye. There was a small whirlpool in the middle of the blue lake. Shua. In the next instant, Zhao Feng stepped into an ancient and vast land. The power of heaven and earth in the ancient dream realm made Zhao Feng's body sink, and his face went slightly red. With the strength of Zhao Feng's body right now, he could stay in the ancient dream realm for a few breaths. However, the power of his soul was more than enough. Shua. Zhao Feng took in a deep breath of the ancient dream realm aura and instantly exited the ancient dream realm. Immediately afterward, he aimed at the jade-like cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly and slowly let out a breath of air. This aura was extremely restrained, and it contained a few wisps of eye bloodline power from Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. At that moment, the bloodlines of both the 8th prince and Princess Yuqing started to throb. Shock appeared on the 8th prince's face. Who? The two watched in surprise as Zhao Feng let out a breath at the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Could it be that what Zhao Feng breathed out was divine chi that could save the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly? An unbelievable scene appeared. The translucent wings of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly in the porcelain bottle trembled slightly. It moved. Princess Yuqing and the 8th prince stared at the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. If it wasn't for the fact that they both saw it at the same time, they would have thought that it was just an illusion. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly did move just now. However, from the looks of it, it was just a coincidence. As expected, the god's spiritual eye is a god's eye. Even the bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races would be alerted. The aura of the ancient dream realm is very compatible with the bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races, so it's easy to absorb. Zhao Feng nodded his head. His method just then didn't just include his profound insight, it also included the little thieving cat's suggestion. The little thieving cat seemed to have an unimaginable understanding of beasts and had the ability to communicate with them. Zhao Feng, you're so strong. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly really moved just now. Princess Yuqing was overjoyed. The 8th prince's eyes were slightly dazed. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng seemed to be a monster in his eyes. It was already unbelievable that a youth could defeat an imperial genius, Luo Zun. And now Zhao Feng was able to make the sleeping cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly move with just one breath. This ability wasn't something that normal people could achieve. Okay, I'm just sure that there's a way to awaken the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. I need to go back and prepare for a month, Zhao Feng said. He immediately rejected Princess Yuqing's invitation to stay and left behind a list of materials. Some of the materials were needed to awaken the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, and some were for Zhao Feng's personal use. Not long after Zhao Feng left, in front of a quiet lake in the Duke's palace, the aura of the 10,000 ancient races? It's the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The expression of a majestic male in golden robes kept on changing. Shua. The golden-robed male disappeared, and an unusual magnificent power and a surge of Lord Dynasty Providence appeared. At the same time, within the princess residence, royal father, 13th uncle, Princess Yuqing and the 8th prince bowed at the same time when they saw the dignified man. They seemed very obedient. The person who came was Duke Nanfeng, the ruler of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Yuqing, how dare you steal the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly from the Life Source Pavilion? Duke Nanfeng's expression became grim as he looked at the bottle in Princess Yuqing's hand. Royal father, a genius beast tamer, helped just now and made the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Princess Yuqing hurriedly explained with an excited expression. However, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly in her hand was taken away by a magnificent power before she could finish speaking. Duke Nanfeng held the bottle and scanned it with his divine sense. A weird expression appeared on his face. How is this possible? the signs of life within the cloud silkworm's Saint Butterfly have returned. Chapter 781. In the Duke's mansion, in the peach blossom courtyard. You're saying that one breath from that youth caused the cloud silkworm's Saint Butterfly to show signs of reviving? Duke Nanfeng was stunned after hearing the two story. If it was just Princess Yuqing, Duke Nanfeng might be suspicious and think that it was an exaggeration. However, the eighth prince saw it with his own eyes and knew that he wasn't someone who liked to play around. Yuqing, why didn't you ask such a talented person to stay in your palace and let me meet him? Duke Nanfeng said in a slightly blaming tone. Being one of the 10,000 ancient races, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was in deep sleep this time. Even some Grandmaster and Grandmaster Beast Tamers couldn't do anything about it. After saying this, he was about to send someone to invite Zhao Feng back. Father, wait. He said that he needs to go back and prepare. This is just the beginning. We shouldn't disturb him. Princess Yuqing hurried to stop him. That's true. Duke Nanfeng nodded his head. He then asked Princess Yuqing and the eighth prince about Zhao Feng. Oh, the 10,000 sacred clan? Duke Nanfeng immediately sent experts to the 10,000 sacred clan and asked them to protect Zhao Feng in secret. Zhao Feng was related to the awakening of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, and he couldn't allow anything to happen to it. If I can successfully awaken the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, I will have a chance to return to the sacred hall and become a player in the Lord dynasty. Duke Nanfeng murmured in his heart as battle intent appeared in his eyes. Although the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly wasn't a battle-type insect, only a few people knew its true value. On the other side, Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird back to the 10,000 sacred clan. When I awaken the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly next time, I'll be able to get some Soul Dao resources from the Duke's palace. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. If he tried his best, he could awaken the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly in one go, but it would just be a bit more taxing. Zhao Feng planned to do it several times. Firstly, he couldn't make the awakening seem so easy. Secondly, he could also obtain more precious materials and resources if he relaxed a little. Of course, Zhao Feng couldn't drag this matter out for too long. There were less than 4 months left until the divine illusion dimension opened. There were only 100 or so days left. Thus, Zhao Feng had to revive the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly within 3 months. Zhao Feng's so-called preparation work was to come back and cultivate for a period of time. On the same day, Zhao Feng returned to his residence and began to cultivate in seclusion. Over the past few days, he had been crazily doing missions, peddling and auctioning spiritual pets, and annihilating the Yin family. He had raked in quite a bit of capital. In a short period of time, Zhao Feng did not lack resources. Zhao Feng sat down cross-legged, and various water-type precious materials appeared in front of him. There were crystals, liquids, and jewels. As for the rest of the precious herbs and heavenly treasures that could be used to refine one's body, Zhao Feng also listed out a few of them. These resources were enough to make a primal core realm cultivator's eyes go red. If he wanted to increase his cultivation faster, using external resources was one of the most effective ways. Furthermore, the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique and Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body that he cultivated were of a very high level. They were hard to find even in 4-star sections. Because he was recultivating, Zhao Feng didn't need to worry about his foundation being unstable. Furthermore, the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique and sacred lightning body complemented each other, causing his foundation to be extremely deep. Time flew by quickly. More than a dozen days had passed. Zhao Feng's 5-elemental wind lightning technique had reached the peak 4th level. Within his source of true spirit, a ball of liquid water lightning started to glow with a layer of exquisite lightning. From now on, Zhao Feng's water of wind lightning had a certain level of mastery and foundation. The water of wind lightning had both the speed and offense of wind lightning, as well as the flexibility of water. Furthermore, the water of wind lightning had a great cleansing effect on the body and could even get rid of hidden injuries. Using the water of wind lightning as my first 5-elemental wind lightning isn't a bad choice. Zhao Feng was satisfied. Bo Weng Weng, Zhao Feng opened his arm, and a ball of ice blue liquid appeared in his palm. Ice Imperial Spear. The ball of ice blue liquid turned into an ice blue spear, which then turned into a dark blue armor on Zhao Feng's body. The ice water battle armor rippled with lightning patterns, and it was ever-changing. After recultivating, Zhao Feng had the water of wind lightning, so he could use the ice imperial spear more smoothly. The god's spiritual eye had given him the water of wind lightning's bloodline. Now that he could use the ice imperial spear, Zhao Feng's strength had increased dramatically. Another few days passed. The water of wind lightning surrounded Zhao Feng's body and sizzled. At a certain moment, a layer of bluish-silver metallic luster appeared on the surface of his body. The luster was dazzling, making him look like an icy silver statue. An invisible surge of physical power appeared on Zhao Feng's body. Boom! The room Zhao Feng was in shook. Just the slightest shockwave was enough to almost shatter it. And this was when Zhao Feng was purposely suppressing himself. Every brick and tile in the world of the clan was made of extraordinary materials. For example, the room that Zhao Feng was in could take a few rounds of attacks from those at the True Spirit Realm and not shatter. Golden Kuan's Sacred Lightning Body, 4th level. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. He felt that every inch of his flesh, blood, and bones contained a tremendous power that surged like a raging bull. Ding! Zhao Feng used a sharp earth-grade fragment to cut his arm, but sparks flew. What a strong defense! Zhao Feng felt limitless power, and he had the confidence to trample over everything. Right now, with just his physical strength, he could fight back and even crush some sovereigns at the Origin Core realm. After breaking through to the 4th level of the Sacred Lightning Body, Zhao Feng consolidated his foundation and then started to cultivate the 5-elemental wind lightning technique. Because his intent was higher, the 5-elemental wind lightning technique was faster. On the other hand, body-strengthening techniques didn't have as much of a boost in intent. On this day, in the main hall of the Luo family, more than a dozen upper-echelon members of the Luo family gathered together. With this plan, the Zhao clan won't be able to sell their resources, and the family will be facing a financial crisis in less than half a year. Along with the 3 cloud-flying bandits' attacks, not only will the Zhao clan not be able to truly control the Yunling area, they won't even have the chance to rest. The head of the Luo family and the elders all had wicked smiles. Although right now, it wasn't appropriate for the Luo family to directly attack the Zhao clan, they could weaken the Zhao clan from the inside by punishing and causing trouble. Without a drop of blood, we can subdue our enemies without a trace. The older, the wiser. Luo Zun sat next to his father with a bright smile. Right at this moment, a unique, magnificent power of a king spread through the providence of heaven and earth and enveloped the main hall of the Luo family. Void God Realm King. The hearts of the upper echelon members of the Luo family dropped. 8th Prince? Luo Zun was surprised as he looked at the male wearing a long robe next to him. Luo Zun. The 8th Prince's expression was solemn. We can't attack the Zhao clan right now. We can't even offend Zhao Feng. Otherwise, the Luo family will be killed. What? As soon as these words were spoken, a commotion broke out in the hall. If these words were spoken by someone else, everyone would scoff at them. However, the person who said it was the 8th Prince of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. A while later, in a secret hall of the Luo family, the 8th Prince, Luo Zun, and the head of the Luo family gathered in a room and discussed in secret. The Zhao Feng. Duke Nan Feng appreciates him. Even Princess Yuqing likes him a lot. Luo Zun was slightly dazed. The head of the Luo family was dazed, and his back was drenched in cold sweat. After all, Duke Nan Feng was the supreme king of this island zone. He was a relative of the Great Gon Lord dynasty and a disciple of the Great Gon Lord dynasty's sacred emperor. On top of that, Duke Nan Feng himself was a peak emperor, and adding on the providence of a royal lord, it was impossible to estimate his strength. Even the 8th Prince came to the Tianfeng Great Island Zone this time in order to rope in Duke Nan Feng and the force behind him. The Lord dynasty was currently in a sensitive and crucial period. According to the rules, the current Great Gon Lord dynasty sacred emperor had less than 10 years left, and it was about to reach the limit of 500 years. After all, as the sacred emperor, he had the blessing of the entire Lord dynasty. According to the Lord dynasty's rules, unless there were special circumstances, the sacred emperor couldn't be reappointed. And the birth of every new sage emperor represented many factional struggles. At that time, the Lord dynasties, some super families, 3-star, and even 4-star sects would participate in the competition for the position of sacred emperor. In this magnificent great era, the 8th prince also wanted to fight for a chance, even if he wasn't a popular candidate for the position of crown prince. This was his main reason for coming to the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed since Zhao Feng returned from the Duke's palace. During this month, Zhao Feng went into seclusion and cultivated. At this moment, his cultivation had finally returned to the half-step origin core realm. Right at this moment, the 10,000 Sacred Clans Divine Illusion Trials started. The Divine Illusion Trials were for the people who could enter the Divine Illusion dimension. Being a 3-star force in the past, the 10,000 Sacred Clan obviously had an array to connect to the Divine Illusion dimension. However, only 100 people could enter the Divine Illusion dimension each time. The goal of the Divine Illusion Trials was to select 100 people. Of these 100 people, 60 to 70% were from the younger generation, and 30 to 40% were from the older generation. Each force had different rules, but they all focused on the younger generation. After all, the younger generation had more potential. Within the 10,000 Sacred Clan, there was a long line in front of a great hall. There were around 1,000 to 2,000 geniuses and elites signing up. The Divine Illusion dimension wasn't like the so-called inheritances that had an age limit. Anyone below the Void God realm could sign up. Next, an elder with a long beard registered on an ancient wooden table. Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng walked up and took out his identity token. Zhao Feng? The bearded elder's eyes widened as he glanced at Zhao Feng. During this period of time, Zhao Feng's fame in the clan wasn't small. Some of his achievements weren't talked about in the clan. It was said that this genius beast tamer had recently been recognized by Duke Nanfeng. There's still a month left until the Divine Illusion Trials. After signing up, Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and left the clan in a flashy manner. Recently, Zhao Feng received a letter from the Zhao family. Apparently, the Luo family had come to apologize. Several hours later, Zhao Feng arrived at the Duke's palace on the Yinming bird. The Duke's palace received the news before Zhao Feng even arrived. Zhao Feng, Princess Yuqing exclaimed in excitement. Her face was flushed with joy. However, the atmosphere in front of the Duke's palace was solemn, and the nearby servants and generals didn't even dare to breathe loudly. A middle-aged male in golden robes stood in front of the Duke's palace with his hands behind his back. Duke Nanfeng is personally welcoming Zhao Feng. Chapter 782. The 8th prince was slightly dazed as he stood in front of the palace. He was originally here to welcome Zhao Feng with Princess Yuqing. However, Duke Nanfeng, the owner of the Duke's palace, appeared next to him and looked at the approaching Yinming bird with his hands behind his back. As soon as the Yinming bird arrived, Zhao Feng felt an invisible pressure from its gaze. This pressure went straight into the soul, and it seemed to be able to pierce through everything. Duke Nanfeng? Zhao Feng was surprised as his gaze landed on the middle-aged golden-robed man. There were only a few Void God Realm emperors in the entire Canopy Great Island Zone. Duke Nanfeng was one of the top ones, and his noble fate and majesty could be seen with one glance. The instant their gazes met, Zhao Feng had a rough understanding of Duke Nanfeng's strength. Firstly, Duke Nanfeng was definitely a peak emperor, and his cultivation was close to reaching the mystic light realm. Secondly, he also had a lot of providence supporting him. Zhao Feng could guess that Duke Nanfeng's battle power was at least on the same level as the Emperor of Death. Of course, this was only in terms of battle power. In terms of how terrifying he was, the Emperor of Death was even more troublesome to deal with, since he had the Eye of Death and many terrifying forbidden techniques. For example, the cursed words of death, the shadow of the death god, and other forbidden techniques were enough to make mystic light realm's sacred lords wary. The younger generation will surpass us in time. A sharp light flashed through Duke Nanfeng's eyes when their gazes met. At the same time, he was even more surprised that a 14 or 15-year-old boy could remain calm in front of a noble of this level. What does Zhao Feng have to make Lord Duke welcome him personally? Zhao Feng went forward and bowed. At this time, Princess Yuqing walked over happily. Her eyes were filled with expectation and admiration. Zhao Feng, come in and talk. Duke Nanfeng smiled brightly and was very straightforward. A while later, within a garden filled with hundreds of flowers in the Duke's palace, Duke Nanfeng, the 8th prince, Zhao Feng, and Princess Yuqing sat in an elegant pavilion. Zhao Feng took a sip of tea and looked outside the pavilion at the pleasant scenery of birds singing and flowers fragrant. His expression was especially refreshing. With a quick glance, Zhao Feng could not help but sigh at the extravagance of the Duke's mansion. In this garden, every flower and tree was a priceless spirit flower and rare grass. Some of them were even ancient precious plants that were extinct in the outside world. If one cultivated here, the environment would bring about many benefits. From this, one could speculate how the upper echelons of the great Chen dynasty would fare. In the beginning, Duke Nanfeng asked about Zhao Feng's family situation and how it felt to cultivate in the clan. One of them asked, "Little friend Zhao, are you doing well in the 10,000 sacred clan?" This sentence caught the 8th prince's attention. Looks like Duke Nanfeng wants to recruit Zhao Feng very much. It doesn't matter if Zhao Feng can revive the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly or not. The 8th prince thought in his heart. Zhao Feng's reply was very neutral, and he politely replied with a few words. So, he changed the topic and brought up reviving the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Zhao Feng's main focus was on recultivating. He wasn't interested in the struggle for power. At the current stage, he still needed to establish a foundation for the divine illusion dimension. But little friend Zhao is indeed a straightforward person. Duke Nanfeng praised. He could tell that Zhao Feng was a practical person and didn't like to beat around the bush. Immediately, Duke Nanfeng waved the nearby servants away and took out a transparent porcelain bottle. Within the bottle was a jade-like, chubby silkworm. It had a pair of half-transparent wings, and it was sleeping quietly. At first glance, one would think that it was a lifelike jade treasure. The life force of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was still very weak, and some of its functions had even stopped. A misty purple light appeared from Zhao Feng's left eye. Meow meow. The little thieving cat crawled out of the ancient metal ring and lay in front of the bottle, looking at it with interest. The difference between the human and cat made Duke Nanfeng's eyes twinkle. Zhao Feng, these are the materials you asked for on the list last time. Duke Nanfeng handed over an interspatial ring. Zhao Feng took the ring and checked it before faintly nodding his head. The interspatial ring contained origin life force, soul Tao, and other treasures. Zhao Feng took out a bottle of faint red liquid from his ancient metal ring. It looked like fruit juice. This is the liquid I made in the last month. Zhao Feng explained. Duke Nanfeng was slightly surprised. The experts he sent out had found out that Zhao Feng had been in seclusion for the last month. In reality, this liquid was made by Zhao Feng in his spare time. After breaking through to the 4th level of the Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body, Zhao Feng could stay in the ancient dream realm for a while. The ingredients in this bottle included the dew from the trees in the ancient dream realm, as well as the spring water from the ancient dream realm. There was also the juice of half a spiritual fruit from the ancient dream realm. The common characteristic of these ingredients was that they contained the heaven-earth yuan qi from the ancient dream realm and had an aura similar to that of the ancient era. The spiritual fruit from the ancient dream realm was hard to digest, and with Zhao Feng's current body, the absorption was slow. If his Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body improved, the absorption rate would increase. Next, Zhao Feng merged the origin life force and the other soul Tao ingredients into the faint red liquid. During this process, the liquid gave off a faint fragrance. Zhao Feng told Marquis Nanfeng to put the sleeping cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly into the liquid. According to the past, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was in a deep sleep and would activate its self-protection mechanism. However, the weird thing was that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly didn't show any obvious signs of rejection. Gulu, gulu. There was a faint bubble in the juice. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's body seemed to be very close to the liquid. This wasn't out of Zhao Feng's expectations. Last time, he had given the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly a puff of the ancient dream realm aura. In order to open up the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's life force, Zhao Feng's left eye circulated a wisp of his god's spiritual eye soul power into the liquid. Meow meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paws and started to speak to the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The weird words and Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye made the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's wings tremble slightly. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's chubby body also moved slightly. The signs of life are returning. Marquis Nanfeng revealed a joyful expression. At this moment, he could feel the hidden and terrifying aura radiating from Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. Even his imperial bloodline trembled. The little thieving cat's weird words seemed to have a unique rhythm to them. This cat and human were very mysterious, and even Duke Nanfeng couldn't see through them despite his experience. Zhao Feng's soul eye bloodline power and the little thieving cat's weird words continued for 10 breaths. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng's soul even released a wisp of the aura of God Tribulation Lightning. Finally, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's chubby body and wings shivered, and it slowly opened its emerald eyes. The moment it opened its eyes, a terrifying aura that originated from the ancient era caused the bloodlines and bodies of countless beings and experts in the Duke's mansion to tremble. What a terrifying gaze! Zhao Feng clicked his tongue. As expected of a race with a bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races. Even though they were in such a weak state and had just woken up, they were still able to fight. In order to avoid any hostility, Zhao Feng immediately retracted his soul eye bloodline power. Meow meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paws and started to speak to the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly seemed to understand, and the hostility in its eyes disappeared as it looked at the little thieving cat. After that, its body began to rapidly absorb the juice that was soaking its body. 1. The translucent wings of the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly were covered in a layer of colorful light, which was beautiful and enchanting. However, the aura from its body was extremely terrifying. Even someone as strong as the 8th prince, who had the cultivation of a king that came from his bloodline, instinctively felt uneasy. The cultivation of this cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly is at least at the void god realm. Adding on its unique bloodline power, it's comparable to a mystic light realm's sacred lord. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. He knew a bit about the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's unique abilities. It had 3 forms: silkworm, chrysalis, and butterfly. The chrysalis form was relatively weak, but it could spit out the cloud silkworm Saint Silk and transform into a new form. The cloud silkworm Saint Silk was said to be impenetrable by fire, and its binding power was extremely strong. Furthermore, the cloud silkworm Saint Silk was a material used to create top-tier defensive armors. The chrysalis form had the strongest defense, and even experts 1 rank higher would find it hard to break through it head-on. In other words, even mystic light realm sacred lords wouldn't be able to break through the cloud silkworm Saint Silk at the void god realm. The butterfly form had strong offense, agility, and the unique pollen it gave off contained a mysterious power. In just a short while, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly absorbed half of the juice, and its life force and soul were healed to a certain degree. It's finally awake. Excitement and joy appeared on Duke Nanfeng's face. This cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly definitely had the ability to change his fate. Zhao Feng knew how it worked. Although the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly wasn't ranked very high among the 10,000 ancient races, it had strong support abilities. The last time the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly appeared, it participated in killing a mystic light realm sacred monster king from the Dark Moon Lord dynasty and was extremely useful. The 8th prince couldn't help but reveal envy. Of course, he also knew that the power of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's pollen could help form a mystic light sacred body and merge the soul and body together. As its master, Duke Nanfeng, who was a peak emperor, wouldn't have a problem becoming a mystic light realm sacred lord in the future. After a while, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly went back to sleep. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's life force has been awakened. Lord Duke, as long as you replenish its life force and soul, it will be able to recover and return to its peak. Zhao Feng replied. The next time he came, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly would be able to completely awaken. Zhao Feng, thank you for helping me. Apart from the reward, Duke Nanfeng, will owe you a favor. Duke Nanfeng's face was filled with gratitude and red. He seemed to be very excited, and he even reached out and patted Zhao Feng's shoulder. The 8th prince sighed in his heart. Zhao Feng had already won Duke Nanfeng's appreciation, respect, and gratitude. Now, it was time to talk about rewards and rewards. Zhao Feng, if you're willing to join the Duke's palace, I'm willing to give you the right to recommend a count for the next 300 years. Duke Nanfeng said in a solemn tone. Earldom? The hearts of the 8th prince and the young princess skipped a beat. Chapter 783. The ranks of nobility in the Great Gonlord dynasty were Duke, Marquis, Earl, Viscount, and Baron. The title of Duke wasn't just a symbol of status, it also gave one the providence of the Lord dynasty. The providence of the Lord dynasty was a mysterious power that could bring many benefits to cultivation and one's destiny. Those with strong providence would have a higher chance of breaking through bottlenecks. Reality proved that providence could increase one's battle power and allow one to unleash their peak power. Those with strong providence would even have more fortune than normal people. Of course, this was only limited to the Great Gonlord dynasty. In the Continent dynasty, countless experts would fight to the death to obtain a noble title. At this moment in time, a chance that billions of people dreamed of was right in front of Zhao Feng. This is a duke title? Surprise was written all over the 8th prince and Princess Yuqing's faces. Duke Nanfeng was a marquis and a relative of the emperor, so he only had the right to nominate a duke title every 300 years. The duke title had to go to the capital of the Great Gonlord dynasty and be approved by the sacred emperor. From this, the title of Earl was a rare opportunity. In recent years, the Great Gonlord dynasty's territory had been invaded by the Dark Moon Lord dynasty, and its providence had decreased slightly. The Lord dynasty's control over the duke titles was becoming stricter and stricter, and the number of dukes became fewer and fewer. If Zhao Feng becomes a duke, his status will be second only to Duke Nanfeng in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. The 8th prince couldn't help but worry for the Luo family. Usually, the bestowment of a duke title was accompanied by the division of territory. Thank you for your good intentions, Your Highness. Zhao Feng thought for a while and said, but I'm focused on cultivation and won't stay in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone for too long. Therefore, I can't join the Duke's palace. It wasn't that Zhao Feng wasn't tempted by the benefits of a duke title. However, while he enjoyed the benefits, he would also have to pay a price. For example, freedom. Zhao Feng didn't want to be kidnapped by Duke Nanfeng and the Lord dynasty so quickly. Moreover, after Zhao Feng recovered his Void God Realm cultivation base, he would depart for the Continent Zone to meet up with Duanmu Qing and Zhao Yufei. The Duanmu family was one of the 8 great families, and it was hard to say if they were on the same side as Duke Nanfeng. This prince will not force your decision. The corresponding reward will not be small. This prince will owe you a favor. Duke Nanfeng was slightly regretful. Not only did he value Zhao Feng's talent as a beast tamer, he also sensed a hidden power in the latter's body. The 8th prince and Princess Yuqing couldn't believe that Zhao Feng had rejected the temptation of the title of Earl. Zhao Feng, you actually rejected father's good intentions? Princess Yuqing seemed a bit angry. When Duke Nanfeng was willing to recommend Zhao Feng to become a marquis, Princess Yuqing was surprised and happy for him. However, he didn't expect Zhao Feng to reject him so decisively. This Zhao Feng is not simple. The 8th prince felt that this youth in front of him was shrouded in mist, and he couldn't see through him. After the commotion over the title of Earl calmed down, the atmosphere on the field became cheerful and relaxed again. Later that day, Duke Nanfeng decided to hold a banquet in the Duke's palace to thank Zhao Feng for being an esteemed guest. Since Duke Nanfeng and Princess Yuqing kept inviting him, Zhao Feng couldn't reject them. The location of the banquet was the garden of the Duke's palace, and it was held at night. Some of the nearby nobles were also invited. More and more guests came to the Duke's palace, and the atmosphere became lively and joyful. While cultivating, Zhao Feng took this opportunity to relax. Night soon arrived. The garden of the Duke's palace was lit up, and people were singing and dancing. Princess Yuqing stuck to Zhao Feng and introduced him to her friends, but he wasn't interested. Zhao Feng. The voice of a dominant male sounded when he walked to a certain place. Zhao Feng looked over and saw a familiar face. He didn't expect that someone from the Luo family would also receive an invitation. Luo Zun, the head of the Luo family, and the Void God Realm Grand Elder of the Luo family were all present. The banquet of the Duke's palace was different. Some people might come to give gifts even if they weren't invited. After all, this was the highest authority of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Being one of the top 3 families in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, the Luo family's relationship with the Duke's palace wasn't bad. This was especially so for Luo Zun, who was the #1 genius of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. "Brother Luo, what do you want?" Zhao Feng smiled faintly as he inspected the people from the Luo family. The head of the Luo family squeezed out a smile, but he didn't have the usual aura of the head of the family. Luo Zun's expression was slightly unnatural. They obviously knew that the main character of this banquet was Zhao Feng. Just think about it. After this banquet, who in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone would dare to offend Zhao Feng and the Yunling Zhao family? "Zhao Feng, my little sister wants to see you," Luo Zun said expressionlessly. The defeat and unwillingness in his heart became stronger when facing this youth. Although Zhao Feng hadn't defeated him in a head-on fight, his opponent was a youth that wasn't even half his age. This feeling of defeat was comparable to when he lost to Exen Wuheng in front of everyone. "Little sister?" Luo Shui. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly as he looked around. Luo Shui was a famous beauty in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone with great talent. Princess Yuqing couldn't help but frown when she heard the name Luo Shui. The Duke's palace had obviously heard about Zhao Feng's past. Princess Yuqing also knew that Luo Shui was Zhao Feng's fiancée and that the 8th prince thought highly of her. "I want to see what kind of beauty Luo Shui is." Princess Yuqing harumphed. "Shui only wants to see Zhao Feng alone." Luo Zun was still very polite to Princess Yuqing. "Princess Yuqing, I'll be leaving for a bit." Zhao Feng smiled at the princess. Immediately, Zhao Feng left with Luo Zun, leaving behind the unfriendly Princess Yuqing. "Little sister Yuqing, I hope that you can try harder and steal Zhao Feng away. That way, we'll both win." A teasing voice sounded from behind. The owner of the voice was the 8th prince. "Steal? Who said I like him?" Princess Yuqing's porcelain face couldn't help but turn red. "Oh, you like him? You said it yourself." The 8th prince had a playful expression. He looked in the direction that Zhao Feng left in, but he wasn't as casual as he looked. From the current situation, if Zhao Feng wanted Luo Shui, the 8th prince might not be his match. "Is it worth it to offend this guy for a woman?" the 8th prince asked. At this moment, he wasn't using a normal genius to judge Zhao Feng. The 8th prince had a feeling that Zhao Feng might be someone like Exen Wuheng, unfathomable and unfathomable. Zhao Feng reviving the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had, to a certain degree, changed Duke Nanfeng's fate, and it might even affect the battle within the Lord dynasty. This youth hadn't even entered the continent zone yet, but he had dropped a stone on the surface of the Lord dynasty and caused a ripple. On the other side, Zhao Feng followed Luo Zun into a remote bamboo forest within the Duke's palace. "Shui is waiting for you inside," Luo Zun said expressionlessly and then stood guard next to the bamboo forest. With his status as the #1 genius of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone and a Void God Realm King, even those from the Duke's palace had to be respectful to him. They walked into the bamboo forest. A beautiful figure with long hair entered his sight. It was a beautiful girl with waist-length hair. She wore a green dress, and her skin was smooth. Her eyebrows were like mountains, and she seemed to be slightly worried. Her eyes and snow-white skin had a kind of liveliness and gentleness to them. She was like a lotus after the rain that had shed all its luster. "Luo Shui?" Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. Any male that saw this beautiful girl wouldn't be able to help but want to protect her. Of all the beauties he had seen, Luo Shui was at least ranked in the top 5. In terms of aura, she wasn't much weaker than Lu Qinxin. Zhao Feng, do you still remember where we first met? Luo Shui's clear eyes landed on Zhao Feng. Her eyes, which were as beautiful as water, had a trace of hazy beauty. First time? A bamboo forest with drizzling rain appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. It was on that day that Zhao Feng and Luo Shui met. On that day, Zhao Feng saw Luo Shui's appearance and was stunned. His handsome face went red for a while, and he stuttered. Luo Shui's smiling eyes contained a hint of shyness. However, Zhao Feng was only 13 years old at that time, and he didn't realize that this meeting was arranged by Luo Shui. Luo Shui was extremely talented, and she wasn't willing to let her marriage be decided by someone else. She had a good impression of him the first time they met. The young girl's first awakening of love was reserved, and she secretly acquiesced to this engagement. So that's how it is. Zhao Feng recalled the details in his memory and understood a lot. The original Zhao Feng was also extremely handsome, and his purest side had moved Luo Shui's heart. Shui never thought that you would write a divorce letter. Is it because of your pride or because of the 8th prince's power? Luo Shui's watery eyes were slightly red. Zhao Feng calmly walked around the bamboo forest with his hands behind his back and admired Luo Shui's beauty. You've changed. Luo Shui stared at Zhao Feng for a while before sobbing. At this moment, the way he looked at her was completely different from before. There wasn't any love in his eyes. She even suspected that this youth wasn't the same as before. Lady Luo, I'm sorry, but the Zhao Feng who liked you has already left. Zhao Feng didn't say anything else. He didn't want to repeat what happened in the flooding lake city. After all, this was a grudge between the original Zhao Feng, and Zhao Feng didn't want to get involved. The relationship between Zhao Feng and Lu Qinxin was different. Back then, although he had been forced into a marriage, he had managed to stay in the flooding lake city for half a year while living under someone else's roof. That half a year made him and Lu Qinxin form an unbreakable bond. After saying this, Zhao Feng didn't say anything else and turned around and walked out of the bamboo forest. Zhao Feng, you have to give me a reason. Luo Shui sobbed. Reason? You'll know in the future. Zhao Feng walked out of the bamboo forest without looking back. The instant he left the bamboo forest, Luo Shui seemed to see purple hair dancing in the wind. At this moment, Zhao Feng didn't give her an answer. But the true Zhao Feng was in Zhao Feng's body, and sooner or later, it would be revealed to the public. Chapter 784. Zhao Feng and Zhao Feng were two completely different people. He didn't want to interfere with Zhao Feng's relationship. Even Luo Shui's appearance and bearing were rare in the world. After walking out of the bamboo forest, Zhao Feng thought back to some of his wishes. Among them, he had already fulfilled his wish to unify the Yunling family. Secondly, he had already helped his grandfather extend his lifespan and heal his injuries. Become the disciple of a king and become famous in the 10,000 Sacred Clan and the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. This goal was about to be achieved. It would happen during the upcoming banquet and the divine fantasy trials. As for becoming the disciple of a king, Zhao Feng would be able to recover his king cultivation in a short amount of time. This would probably surpass the original owner's expectations. Apart from marrying Luo Shui, everything else is pretty much done. It might even surpass expectations. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Zhao Feng could be said to have done all he could to put in so much effort. After all, the original Zhao Feng had already died when he took over this body. Within the Duke's palace, there was singing and dancing. In tonight's banquet, Zhao Feng was undoubtedly the main character. Many influential figures from the Tianfeng Great Island Zone recognized this genius beast tamer who had miraculously risen to power. There were even 2 kings from the 10,000 Sacred Clan that had come to attend the banquet. Apparently, they had a good relationship with Duke Nanfeng. At the banquet, Zhao Feng was invited by many nobles and nobles from the Great Island Zone, and he couldn't take care of himself. Luckily, Princess Yuqing helped Zhao Feng share some of the pressure. At the banquet, Duke Nanfeng's favorite princess was extremely close to Zhao Feng. This scene was also seen by Duke Nanfeng and those from the Luo family. It wasn't hard to see that Princess Yuqing admired and liked Zhao Feng. Duke Nanfeng saw this, but he smiled and didn't say anything. If Princess Yuqing was willing to be with Zhao Feng, he wouldn't object. The members of the Luo clan looked worried. If Zhao Feng divorced and became Duke Nanfeng's son-in-law, it would be a huge blow to the Luo family's reputation. Thankfully, what the Luo family worried about did not happen. Zhao Feng didn't show much interest in Princess Yuqing. He had a helpless expression as she led him around. At a corner of the banquet, Luo Zun and the 8th prince, 2 young men who were supposed to be very bright, were now standing in an inconspicuous corner. This Zhao Feng divorced Luo Shui and isn't interested in Princess Yuqing. What's going on in his head? The 8th prince's gaze often landed on Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was becoming more and more unfathomable to him. Even he, the 8th prince, was attracted by Luo Shui's beauty. The young princess' noble status was something that countless men dreamed of. However, Zhao Feng had actually given up on these 2 goddess-like beauties at the same time. It was truly infuriating to compare oneself with others. The 8th prince couldn't help but question himself. As the noble 8th prince of the Great Gan dynasty, how could he lose to a youth from a small family? Late at night, the banquet ended. Zhao Feng expressed his gratitude towards Duke Nanfeng and said his goodbyes. Duke Nanfeng didn't try to keep Zhao Feng and gave him some rewards. Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and left the duke's mansion. On the way back, he checked the rewards that Duke Nanfeng had given him. Those rewards included some precious soul materials and water-type treasures that Zhao Feng required, and all of them were priceless and difficult to obtain. Besides, Duke Nanfeng even gave him some primal crystal stones. These were not ordinary primal crystal stones, but the highest grade primal crystal stones. Primordial crystal stones, from high grade to top grade, was a dividing line. 1 supreme grade crystal stone was equivalent to 1 million high grade crystal stones. 1 high grade primordial crystal stone equals 100 mid grade primordial crystal stones equals 10,000 low grade primordial crystal stones. From this, one could see how rare supreme-grade primordial crystal stones were. Back then, Zhao Feng had used a lot of supreme-grade primordial crystal stones to use the spiritual zone teleportation array. From the floating dream sacred land to the Azure Flower continent, then from the Azure Flower continent to the Nanlin Sea. Because of this, Zhao Feng had used 95% of his wealth in his previous life, and he had even gotten some supreme-grade primordial crystal stones from Emperor Zimu to make up for it. After taking over the body and reviving, Zhao Feng basically didn't have any supreme-grade primordial crystal stones on hand. However, Duke Nanfeng's reward this time was close to 100 supreme-grade primordial crystal stones and over 10 million high-grade primordial crystal stones. Of course, in comparison, the favor that Duke Nanfeng owed Zhao Feng was more valuable. This amount of resources is enough for me to cultivate to the Void God realm. However, the amount of resources needed after that is even greater. Zhao Feng's gaze was very far away. He was recultivating for a higher and further goal. Therefore, Zhao Feng would definitely grasp this chance when the divine illusion dimension connected once every 100 years. According to what he knew, many of the extinct resources in the continent zone came from the divine illusion dimension. For example, above the supreme-grade primordial crystal stones were the legendary God crystals. God crystals were almost impossible to form in the current environment of the fan universe. They usually came from ancient ruins like the divine illusion dimension. The God crystal was the core of the super long-distance teleportation array and could be used by mystic light realm sacred lords and demigods to cultivate. For the current Zhao Feng, supreme-grade primordial crystal stones were the best for cultivation. After returning to the clan, Zhao Feng started another round of seclusion. I'll go to the Duke's palace in a month. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly will be able to fully awaken by then. Zhao Feng had already confirmed the time before entering seclusion. Within the room, a silver-blue metallic glow appeared on Zhao Feng's body, making him seem like a statue of ice and silver. The water of wind lightning surrounded Zhao Feng's body and refined his flesh, organs, and bones. Ever since the golden Kuan's sacred lightning body broke through to the 4th level, Zhao Feng's physical strength and defense had reached a whole new level. At this moment in time, with just his physical body alone, he could even suppress ordinary primal core realms. Because of the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, Zhao Feng could cultivate these two top-tier sacred techniques at the same time. In comparison, the 5 elemental wind lightning technique advanced faster. This was because of Zhao Feng's foundation in wind lightning and his emperor-level intent. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique broke through to the 5th level. The 5 elemental wind lightning technique was split into 12 levels. The first 3 levels were the foundations of wind lightning. The 4th to 6th levels were the foundations of the first 5 elemental wind lightning. Zhao Feng chose the water of wind lightning. When the 7th level started, Zhao Feng would be able to create the second 5 elemental wind lightning, the wood of wind lightning. Water gave birth to wood gave birth to fire, fire gave birth to earth gave birth to metal. Finally, metal gave birth to water, completing the cycle of the 5 elements. And so on. The 7th level was the wood of wind lightning, the 8th was the fire of wind lightning, the 9th was the earth of wind lightning, and the 10th was the metal of wind lightning. After the 10th level, the 5 elemental wind lightning would be able to merge into one. These were some of the ancient essence of the original 5 elemental 10,000 lightning art. Of course, the wind lightning inheritance's laws of speed and destruction would also be present. However, Zhao Feng could merge the laws of destruction and God tribulation into the power of wind lightning in advance. The power of God tribulation is the most profound. I'll merge it after I recover my emperor intent. Zhao Feng had his own plan. On this day, a layer of Yuan Qi whirlpool appeared in the air above the courtyard where Zhao Feng was in seclusion, and its aura affected everything within dozens of miles. There seemed to be a black hole sucking in the heaven-earth Yuan Qi nearby. That brat starting to break through to the origin core realms so quickly. Senior Marshal Brother Guang and company noticed what was happening in the courtyard where Zhao Feng was in seclusion. The hearts of some central disciples were stunned. How long had it been? Was it even half a year? Zhao Feng was starting to break through to the origin core realm. Furthermore, the aura of the Yuan Qi whirlpool above the courtyard was extremely strong, and the water lightning Yuan Qi had absorbed was extremely pure. The scene of Zhao Feng breaking through to the origin core realm even caught the attention of some kings. After all, Zhao Feng was only 14 or 15 years old. Regardless of whether he succeeded or failed, he was still a rare genius. However, the Yuan Qi whirlpool only lasted for 2 days before disappearing. Could he have failed? This Zhao Feng's biting off more than he can chew. He only reached the half-step origin core realm not long ago, and he's already trying to break through to the origin core realm. No matter how good his talent and fortune are, he won't be able to break through if his cultivation isn't strong enough. The core disciples that lived in the surroundings heaved a sigh of relief. If Zhao Feng was able to break through to the origin core realm so easily, it would be too much of a blow to them. Right at this moment, the protective array around Zhao Feng's courtyard disappeared. He had come out of seclusion. At this moment, numerous spiritual senses and even a few divine wills pierced through the air to probe. What's going on? The youth that had just come out of seclusion had a rosy complexion. He wasn't pale and weak like they had imagined. Zhao Feng's aura had risen to a new level, and his body was radiating wisps of true yuan. True yuan. This was the standard for breaking through to the origin core realm. The divine senses present even felt the new core within Zhao Feng's body. Origin core realm? He succeeded? How is this possible? It's only been 1 or 2 days and he's already formed a core? The nearby central disciples were speechless. Even the masters of the divine sense who were observing in the dark were shocked. With the help of the peak-grade primal crystal stone, the speed at which he formed his core is much faster than before. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. After all, he had the help of the peak-grade primal crystal stone, as well as several water and lightning elemental resources. It was because of this. According to normal calculations, breaking through to the origin core realm was destined to fail. Logically speaking, the attempt to break through to the primal core realm was destined to fail, given that it ended so quickly. Zhao Feng had just walked out of the courtyard. Shua, shua, shua. Several surges of magnificent power quickly headed toward where Zhao Feng was. Zhao Feng, are you willing to become my disciple? A middle-aged king wearing a snow-white robe appeared in the air above Zhao Feng's courtyard. King Lu Yun. It's Huang Yunhu's master, King Lu Yun. The surrounding core disciples exclaimed in admiration. Before this, Zhao Feng had defeated and injured Huang Yunhu twice, which had caught King Lu Yun's attention. This disciple has the right to choose. Don't force him. Two more king elders appeared in the air. King Thunder, King Lu Qiong. The nearby disciples were flabbergasted. 3 kings had appeared at the same time, and they all wanted to take Zhao Feng as their disciple. From the looks of it, he was at least a core disciple. Master! Senior Martial Brother Guang exclaimed as he looked at King Lu Qiong. Even his master wanted to take Zhao Feng as his disciple. Chapter 785. Senior Martial Brother Guang Tian came from Lord Lu Qiong, but he was only an in-name disciple and not a core disciple. He found it hard to accept what was happening in front of him. His master, who was an unreachable king in his heart, was fighting over a disciple without caring about his image. What made him angry the most was that the 3 kings were fighting over Zhao Feng, who he had been fighting for a long time. Over this period of time, news about Zhao Feng had spread, and it toppled everything that Senior Martial Brother Guang knew. Apparently, Zhao Feng was recognized by Duke Nan Feng and became the main character of the banquet. Even the Luo family, one of the top 3 families of the Great Island Zone, went to the Zhao clan to apologize. What was even more shocking was that Zhao Feng even rejected Duke Nanfeng's offer of a duke title. Even then, Duke Nanfeng still owed Zhao Feng a favor. Right now, 3 Void God Realm Kings were fighting to take Zhao Feng as their disciple. What's going on with Zhao Feng? Ever since he returned from the Wuyo forest, Senior Martial Brother Guang was dazed. At the same time, he started to have some guesses and suspicions about what happened to Zhao Feng. But so what if those guesses and suspicions were true? The few upper echelon members of the Zhao clan knew that Zhao Feng had been taken over, but they had to think of a way to keep it a secret. Thank you for your kindness, elders. Zhao Feng said emotionlessly as he looked up at the 3 beams of magnificent power in the sky. At this moment in time, the nearby central disciples held their breaths and waited for Zhao Feng to make his choice. For a group of core disciples, this kind of opportunity was definitely a turning point that could change their lives. It was unimaginable. Yet Zhao Feng was still so calm and unperturbed. But I'm sorry, I've already become the disciple of an emperor. Zhao Feng's casual words were like a bomb that was dropped on the ground. Void God Realm Emperor. The hearts of the central disciples and the 3 Void God Realm Kings shook. No wonder this Zhao Feng changed so much. This can't be explained by luck alone. He actually became a disciple of a great emperor. The disciples looked at Zhao Feng with obvious envy and jealousy. Thump. Senior Brother Guang's body shook and he fell to the ground. The identity of a true disciple that he had dreamed of, Zhao Feng did not even spare a glance at it. Zhao Feng had even rejected the 3 king tiers offer to take him as a disciple. Furthermore, his reason made the 3 kings feel helpless. The 10,000 Sacred Clan was once a 3-star force, but it had fallen and only had 3 emperors. In the entire Tianfeng Great Island Zone, there were only a handful of Void God Realm emperors. The 10,000 Sacred Clan had the most emperors in the Great Island Zone. However, at its peak, the 10,000 Sacred Clan was even stronger than the Mystic True Sacred Clan, and they had more than 1 or 2 Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lords. The 3 Void God Realm Kings left with regret. They didn't ask which Void God Realm Emperor Zhao Feng was the disciple of. Even the weakest Void God Realm Emperor wasn't something a normal king could compare to. After the disciple recruitment incident ended, Junior Martial Brother Zhao. The eyes of the central disciples lit up as they came to talk to Zhao Feng with respect. However, Zhao Feng snickered coldly and flew away on the Yinming bird. The further one went on the path of recultivation, the slower their progress would become. Zhao Feng was racing against time. There was still 2 more months until the divine illusion dimension connected, so Zhao Feng needed to be prepared. This brat is too arrogant, some of the central disciples said unhappily. He has the right to be arrogant. If I can become the disciple of an emperor and receive Duke Nanfeng's recognition, wouldn't I be able to do whatever I want in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone? The other disciples sighed with admiration and admiration. Senior Martial Brother Guang was the most embarrassed. He definitely sensed what I did to him earlier. Apart from anger, unwillingness, and jealousy, Senior Martial Brother Guang also felt fear and worry about the future. On the other side, Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and headed toward the Duke's palace. The reason he was going was to ensure that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had completely awakened. The Yinming bird was extremely fast, and it radiated an aura of death that was even colder. So Zhao Feng had trained the Yinming bird before going back. The best way to increase the Yinming bird's strength was through Soul Dao resources. Although Zhao Feng had obtained some Soul Dao resources from the Duke's palace, they were limited for those at the Void God realm. After all, Zhao Feng's soul was extremely strong. Therefore, he only used 1 or 2 of the best Soul Dao resources and used the rest to train the Yinming bird. The specific training process was left to the little thieving cat. At this moment, the Yinming bird's cultivation was about to reach the Sovereign Lord level, and it was enough for a flying mount. 4 hours later, Zhao Feng arrived at the Duke's palace. Marquis Nanfeng knew that Zhao Feng would arrive at this time, so he was already waiting for him. In this period of time, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly will awaken for a short while every few days. Marquis Nanfeng described the situation of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Zhao Feng inspected the little jade-like silkworm quietly lying in the precious life liquid. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's aura of life was several times stronger than the first time, and he could feel faint soul undulations. It's about time. Zhao Feng took out a bottle of dark red fruit liquid. This time, Zhao Feng had merged more flesh and spiritual fruits from the ancient dream realm into the fruit liquid. Zhao Feng immediately poured the dark red fruit liquid over the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's body. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly woke up once more and flapped its wings, quickly absorbing the fruit liquid. The fruit liquid contained the heaven-earth yuan qi from the ancient dream realm, and it was extremely compatible with the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's body. After soaking in the liquid, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had obviously improved. Of course, the Duke's palace also used a large amount of resources to recover life. Zhao Feng stayed behind and observed for a day. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's life force, including its soul aura, was recovering. Furthermore, the frequency at which the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly woke up was increasing. Congratulations, Duke. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly has passed the danger and hibernation. It's only weak right now, and it will recover after 1 to 2 years. Zhao Feng smiled and said. Hearing that, Duke Nanfeng was overjoyed. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's survival could change his fate to a certain extent. This junior still needs to go back to participate in the divine illusion trials, so I won't be staying. Zhao Feng soon said his goodbyes. Divine illusion trials? Duke Nanfeng's eyes flashed as he thought of something, and an ancient book appeared in his hand. This book has the records of the Imperials regarding the divine illusion dimension. You can study it when you get back. Duke Nanfeng said. Hearing that, Zhao Feng was overjoyed, and he quickly took the book and memorized the contents. Being an ancient lord dynasty, the Great Gan Imperial's understanding of the divine illusion dimension wasn't something normal 2-star or 3-star powers could compare to. On the way back to the 10,000 sacred clan, Zhao Feng started to digest the information and analysis of the divine illusion dimension in the book. The divine illusion dimension is an abandoned divine illusion dimension. Right now, the Great Gone Lord dynasty hasn't even explored 1/10 of it. Zhao Feng was shocked after reading through it. The divine illusion dimension overlapped with the dimension near the continent zone once every 100 years. Every time this happened, the forces of the continent zone would be able to use their arrays to connect with the divine illusion dimension. However, the divine illusion dimension was too big, and the area that overlapped with the continent zone might not be the same. Furthermore, the mortality rate in the divine illusion dimension was extremely high, far surpassing the inheritances of some clans. The mortality rate is as high as 50%. Zhao Feng's heart shook. However, at the same time, this was also the survival of the fittest between the forces of the continent zone. Usually, those who survived the divine illusion dimension would be nurtured and placed in an important position. The imperial family's ancient book recorded some of the known locations in the divine illusion dimension, including the danger zones and fortuitous encounters. There was also more analysis in the book that was worth studying. When Zhao Feng returned to the 10,000 Sacred Clan, there were only 3 days left until the divine illusion trial started. At this moment, the registration for the divine fantasy trials was nearing its end. Those who needed to register had all registered. The entire sect was in a fiery and tense atmosphere. Some of the cultivators that were in seclusion all went into seclusion to prepare for the trials. The 10,000 Sacred Clan could only send 100 spots into the divine illusion dimension. More than half of the spots were for the younger generation. The remaining 30 to 40% were for the older generation. This generation had 35 spots for the older generation and 65 for the younger generation. Those under 50 were the younger generation, and those over 50 were the older generation. In comparison, the competition between the older generation was even more intense. The weakest of the elites that came to register were at the peak True Lord rank or half-step Origin Core realm. The small Origin Core realm was the main force. The last 3 days, Zhao Feng didn't enter seclusion. Instead, he entered the ancient dream realm. At this moment, Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached the Origin Core realm, and his golden Kuan's sacred lightning body had broken through to the 4th level, so he could walk in the ancient dream realm for a while. In the center of the forest in the ancient dream realm, in front of the tree, the python and the ancient Yao bird were still guarding the spiritual fruits for Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's soul intent was still present, so his dark heart seal was still effective against the 2 Yao spirits. Immediately, Zhao Feng ordered the ancient Yao bird to hunt some of the flesh from the ancient dream realm. The flesh from the ancient dream realm was used by Zhao Feng to refine his sacred lightning body. In his previous life, he found that the child demigod seemed to crave the flesh from the ancient dream realm, as if it was extremely effective for his body and bloodline. In this period of time, Zhao Feng had tried eating the flesh from the ancient dream realm or mixing it into his body-strengthening liquid. Needless to say, the body-tempering effect was very good. Zhao Feng felt his bloodline and body become stronger. After his 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique broke through to the 5th level, his golden Kuan's sacred lightning body also reached the early stages of the 4th level. Starting from the 4th level, the golden Kuan's sacred lightning body was split into the early stages, late stages, and peak stages. The flesh from the ancient dream realm played a huge part in why Zhao Feng was able to reach the early stages of the 4th level so quickly. There were still a few fruits left on the tree, and Zhao Feng planned to use them when he became a king. The day before the divine illusion trials, Zhao Feng soaked in the ancient dream realm blood essence for 2 days and 2 nights, and he also ate some flesh from the ancient dream realm. Right at this moment, he could feel that the bloodline power in his body was undergoing some changes. He could feel a burning sensation in his blood. Chapter 786. As Zhao Feng soaked in the body-strengthening liquid and the ancient dream realm blood essence, he could feel the burning sensation from the depths of his bloodline becoming stronger. Zhao Feng wasn't a newbie who didn't know anything. Naturally, he understood what this sign meant. This bloodline seems to be a fire elemental bloodline. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. This was because he already had an ice-water bloodline in his body. It was a product of the god's spiritual eye. If this bloodline was a fire elemental bloodline, then the two elements countered each other. As the burning sensation became stronger, a bright red light appeared in Zhao Feng's bloodline. It was lighter than his blood, and it seemed to be translucent. This bloodline power isn't any weaker than the 10,000 ancient races. Zhao Feng revealed a weird expression. Luckily, the elemental suppression that Zhao Feng was worried about didn't appear. Both the ice-water bloodline from the god's spiritual eye and the bright red flaming bloodline were products of his body. The human body was made up of many particles of the 5 elements, so they could maintain a balance. Zhao Feng circulated his eye intent and easily controlled the bright red flaming bloodline. The aura of the god's spiritual eye could suppress this bloodline. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's intent was so strong that he could easily control the mystic ice-scaled race bloodline, which was ranked 89th among the 10,000 ancient races. I wonder what the abilities of this bloodline are like. Zhao Feng thought. He could easily activate his bloodline. He had the experience from his previous life and emperor intent. Furthermore, the ancient dream realm bloodline could accelerate the awakening of bloodlines. Zhao Feng and the child demigod had already discovered this a long time ago. I'll activate my bloodline to the maximum. I can find someone to test it out in the divine illusion trials tomorrow. Zhao Feng soon made a decision. On the same day, Zhao Feng's bloodline, from awakening to activating, completed a process that others would take several years or even 10 years to do. However, Zhao Feng also used a lot of ancient dream realm blood essence and other treasures. Late that night, in the sky above Zhao Feng's courtyard, a layer of bright red, translucent flames appeared, covering an area of hundreds of feet in radius. What aura? That faint bloodline aura caused the bloodlines of the nearby core disciples to instinctively tremble uneasily. But afterward, that bloodline aura was easily withdrawn. It was harder to sense from a distance. Even so, the signs and bloodline aura of Zhao Feng's courtyard attracted the attention of a few observant people. The next morning, the core disciples came out early with fervor and expectation on their faces. The Divine Fantasy Continent preliminaries are about to begin. Senior Brother Guang took a deep breath and walked out of his courtyard. He subconsciously glanced at the courtyard where Zhao Feng was. He was slightly startled by what he saw. In the sky above Zhao Feng's courtyard, a bright, fiery glow intertwined with the early morning sun. Faintly, the light of the crimson flame seemed to merge with the power of the primordial golden crow. Is it related to the golden crow race bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races? Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and his heart jumped. Immediately after, he suddenly shook his head. The Golden Crow race was ranked 8th on the 10,000 ancient races and could be said to be a heaven-defying race. Speaking of the Golden Crow race, there was one in the fan universe. That was the immemorial glorious sun. If one flew out of the area, they would be able to get close to the Golden Crow, also known as the sun. The flame energy of the primordial Golden Crow was the strongest in the world, able to incinerate all things. Up until now, no one dared to get close to the Golden Crow. Even demigods or heavenly gods would be instantly turned to dust if they got close to the Golden Crow. Could be said that it was an invincible race that was immeasurably large and provided the light of the entire fan universe. However, the Golden Crow was extremely far away from the continent zone, and with the obstruction of the limitless ocean, it wasn't much of a threat. If it wasn't for the limitless ocean, over 90% of the beings in heaven and earth would be destroyed by the light of the Golden Crow. There were records of this in the ancient legends. At a certain time in the ancient era, there were 10 Golden Crows. Even the powerful beings of the ancient era found it hard to survive. Everything in the ancient era was about to be destroyed. Thus, the races started to discuss how to deal with the 10 Golden Crows. However, the power of the 10 Golden Crows was too terrifying. Even the ancient gods couldn't get close. At the moment of danger, an ancient prodigy had appeared in the first-ranked ancient race. He had used a peerless divine bow forged by the races to kill 9 Golden Crows in a single breath. Only then was the world saved. Of course, all of this was a legend. Whether it was real or fake, it showed how terrifying the Golden Crow race was. My bloodline can absorb the power of the Golden Crow. Although it's not the Golden Crow race's bloodline, it's still weird. Zhao Feng murmured. He didn't even dare to think about the top 10 bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. They were probably on par with the 8 great god eyes. After all, there were a few Fire Dao bloodlines or techniques that could absorb the power of Yang from the Golden Crow race. For example, the Sky Sun Battle race bloodline was connected to the Golden Crow race and could absorb the power of the Golden Crow race. Hun Zhaofeng let out a long breath and started to withdraw his bloodline power. After one night, his newly born bloodline had been developed to a large extent. As for his bloodline, Zhao Feng planned to ask the Zhao clan after the Divine Illusion trials ended and see if the Zhao clan had a similar bloodline. Junior Martial Brother Zhao. The sweet voice of a female sounded from outside the courtyard. Senior Martial Sister 1. Zhao Feng walked out of the courtyard and saw the gentle Senior Martial Sister Wan Rong. Zhao Feng could clearly feel Senior Martial Brother Guang's jealous gaze. Over the past few months, Senior Martial Sister Wan Rong had broken through to the True Lord rank and didn't want to give up on the Divine Illusion dimension. Junior Martial Brother Zhao, Junior Martial Sister 1. Senior Martial Brother Guang squeezed out a smile and walked over. In order to enter the Divine Illusion dimension, Senior Martial Brother Guang had put in a lot of effort, and with the help of his master, he had reached the half-step origin core realm. The half-step origin core realm was among the upper ranks of the central disciples. However, even then, Senior Martial Brother Guang didn't have absolute confidence that he could obtain a spot. The central disciples formed groups of 3 to 5 and went to participate in the Divine Illusion trials. Zhao Feng's cultivation was at the origin core realm, which made him stand out amongst the central disciples. Even some core disciples might not be at the origin core realm. Any disciple that reached the origin core realm at this age would have been taken in as a disciple by a king or even an emperor. Facing the current Zhao Feng, Senior Martial Brother Guang had a complicated expression and felt helpless. It was as if no matter what he did, he couldn't stop this youth's rise. The central disciples were extremely respectful towards Zhao Feng and tried their best to get on his good side. Zhao Feng's attitude was slightly cold and arrogant, but it didn't affect the passion of a central disciple. Senior Martial Brother Guang also wanted to join them, but he was helpless and bitter. He had a worried look on his face. How to resolve his grudge with Zhao Feng was a major problem. Otherwise, with Zhao Feng's rise, it would be hard for him to gain a foothold in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. On an ancient mountain range within the territory of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, all the disciples participating in the Divine Illusion trials were gathered here. The Divine Illusion trials were split into 2 groups. One group was made up of the younger generation, and the other group was made up of the older generation. These 2 groups weren't together. All disciples participating in the Divine Illusion trials are to enter the secret dimension. A Void God Realm King spoke. Zhao Feng knew this king. It was Huang Yunhu's master, King Lu Yun. A trial is being held in a secret dimension? How extravagant! As expected of a 3-star power. Zhao Feng clicked his tongue. In reality, before the demigod Forgotten Garden opened, the 3-star Mystic True Sacred Clan, which Zhao Feng was from, also held a competition in a secret dimension. But by the time Zhao Feng arrived, the competition for spots had already ended. Back then, it was Duan Muqing who had helped Zhao Feng obtain a spot. The 10,000 Sacred Clan had special rights, and they had a few spots. One boom! A faint green whirlpool appeared in the air above the mountain range. Bush, 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 bush. The disciples entered the whirlpool. Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and entered the whirlpool with Senior Martial Sister Wan Rong. They seemed to pass through a layer of water, and they entered a dimension with great pressure. This secret dimension was faintly green, and it was slightly darker than the outside world. The secret dimension was only 100 miles wide, and its layout was similar to the ancient arenas of the Sacred Alliance. From this, it could be seen that this secret realm was specially created for this kind of competition. There were 2 Void God Realm Kings in charge of this secret dimension, and most of the other judges were half-step kings or peak sovereign lords. There were a total of 8 arenas in the arena, but only 4 of them were open. They were in the east, west, south, and north. Every disciple who participated in the selection would receive a number plate when they registered. Zhao Feng was sent to the south arena. There were about 100 core disciples and outer disciples assigned to each arena. Outer disciples could participate in the divine illusion trials as well. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned over and found that there were some familiar people in this group. Most of them were core disciples that he knew. Huang Yunhu, who had lost to Zhao Feng twice, was also in this group. After 2 defeats, Huang Yunhu finally broke through to the origin core realm under his master's scolding. However, a day or 2 after he broke through to the origin core realm, Zhao Feng also broke through. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to him. They're both at the origin core realm, but spiritual pets aren't allowed in the divine illusion trials. Huang Yunhu's eyes twinkled. However, when he thought about how Zhao Feng was able to defeat him, who was at the half-step origin core realm, Huang Yunhu instantly lost his confidence. Lu Tunfan? Oh my god, this guy was sent to the south arena. Exclamations came from the crowd. Everyone's gazes were attracted by a tall youth on the south arena. Lu Tianfan, ranked 3rd among the core disciples. He's at the peak great origin core realm, and he's the personal disciple of an emperor. Zhao Feng obviously knew this person. Most of the top 20 core disciples were at the origin core realm. Lu Tianfan. Huang Yunhu's eyes lit up as he immediately walked over. Since they were both core disciples, Huang Yunhu and Lu Tianfan's relationship wasn't bad. At the same time, Zhao Feng's gaze landed on a beautiful girl wearing a colorful robe on the east arena. Kong Feiling, the top core disciple of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, half-step king cultivation, and has an imperial Dao bloodline. Chapter 787. The multicolored robed Kong Feiling was obviously the center of attention. Zhao Feng wasn't the only one paying attention to her. Without a doubt, Kong Feiling was the prodigy of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. The last disciple of an emperor, an imperial Dao bloodline. She was even listed on the imperial genius rankings. In the Great Gon Lord dynasty, there was the imperial Dao bloodline ranking, which listed the 500 strongest bloodlines. Apart from that, there was the imperial genius rankings, which listed the 500 strongest geniuses. Something worth mentioning was that these 2 rankings were the survival of the fittest, with some advancing and some retreating. After all, as time progressed, geniuses grew, and bloodlines evolved. Within the arena, of all the geniuses of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, Zhao Feng only glanced at Kong Feiling a little more and felt that her talent and strength were close to Nan Gongxing's. As if she had sensed something. The beautiful woman of rainbow feathers turned her beautiful eyes to where Zhao Feng was. Instantly, an invisible mental energy pressure covered the area where Zhao Feng was. The 10 geniuses near Zhao Feng felt a suffocating pressure, as if they had been sliced by an invisible blade. Plop. The knees of one of the true spirit realm outer disciples went soft, and he knelt onto the ground. Of these people, only Zhao Feng remained calm and composed, even faintly smiling. That youth? Kong Feiling couldn't help but exclaim. Even under the pressure of her half-step intent, that youth was still able to act so casually. Senior Martial Sister Kong, that person is the beast tamer Zhao Feng who has recently become famous in the sect. I heard that he's the disciple of a mysterious emperor, and Duke Nan Feng even appreciates him. A male in green next to her introduced with a smile. The brief exchange of gazes between Zhao Feng and Kong Feiling obviously caught the attention of the other geniuses. Who's that guy? He can withstand the half-step intent of the head disciple? The gazes of many geniuses turned toward Zhao Feng. This was especially so for the southern arena where Zhao Feng was. He's the Zhao Feng you were talking about? A sharp light flashed through Lu Tianfan's eyes. Huang Yunhu suppressed the shock in his heart and nodded repeatedly, that's him. Huang Yunhu didn't expect Zhao Feng to be in the limelight this much. Even a half-step king's will couldn't suppress him. He had whispered to Lu Tianfan and fanned the flames, hoping that Lu Tianfan would teach Zhao Feng a lesson. You don't need to instigate me. I'm interested in this Zhao Feng. Lu Tianfan gave him a meaningful look. Huang Yunhu felt weak in his heart, and his back was covered in cold sweat. Lu Tianfan's cultivation was only below Kong Feiling, who was ranked first in the 10,000 sacred clan. Lu Tianfan should be able to teach Zhao Feng a lesson with his strength. Wang Yunhu thought. After all, the difference in their cultivation was too great. One was at the initial origin core realm while the other was at the peak great origin core realm. According to the rules of the Divine Fantasy Trial, there was a high chance that Zhao Feng, Wang Yunhu, and Lu Tianfan would meet. The rules of the competition are an elimination system. If you lose 7 matches in a row, and the total number of matches you lose reaches 20, you will be eliminated from the competition. Zhao Feng said in his heart. The top 50 would be chosen from each arena. At the end, the top 60 would be chosen from the 4 arenas. Even the overall competition adopted an elimination system. Only 60 people were left after the elimination. Why 60? Not 65. This was because 5 of the spots were decided by the clan. Not long after, the battles on the 4 arenas started at the same time. As soon as the battle began, a disciple was sent flying. The victor was decided in an instant. Zhao Feng looked over and couldn't help but shake his head. The 10,000 sacred clan disciples participating in the Divine Fantasy Trials ranged from outer disciples to core disciples, then core disciples, and their strengths were all different. If an outer disciple met a core disciple, they would be instantly killed. Round after round, the competition continued. It was soon Zhao Feng's turn. However, his opponent was slightly weak. He was only an early-stage True Lord rank core disciple. I admit defeat. The True Lord rank core disciple immediately admitted defeat when he saw Zhao Feng, who was at the origin core realm. His cultivation was at the origin core realm, and he was definitely at the top of the younger generation. Rather than being injured, it was better to conserve his strength. Usually, when the difference in strength was too great, the judge would announce the winner early. Just like that, Zhao Feng's first match ended abruptly. Lu Tianfan and Huang Yunhu, who had the highest cultivation in the southern arena, were the same. These two were true disciples. When other disciples encountered them, they would immediately admit defeat. In the eyes of the other disciples, Zhao Feng was no different from a core disciple, and he was even more unfathomable than normal core disciples. Half a day later, Zhao Feng's second opponent was a peak True Lord rank, and he also admitted defeat. Boring. Zhao Feng shook his head. The little thieving cat on his shoulder was also lazy. It wasn't that the battles weren't interesting. Some evenly matched battles, or the weak defeating the strong, also appeared from time to time. Instead, it was Zhao Feng, whose cultivation was at the origin core realm, who stood at the top of the younger generation of the 10,000 sacred clan. Compared to back in the sacred True Dragon gathering, Zhao Feng's cultivation was below average, and his strength was only above average at the start. At the beginning of the sacred True Dragon gathering, the opponents of the 5 overwhelming prodigies were either instantly killed or admitted defeat. It was also very boring. However, the Divine Illusion Trials used an elimination system, and the process was very long. The entire Divine Illusion Trials would take around 20 days to a month. The Divine Illusion Trials was different from the Sacred True Dragon Gathering. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering needed to decide the top 10. On the other hand, the Divine Illusion Trials would continuously eliminate people until there were exactly the same number of people left. Until the third battle. Zhao Feng's opponent was a cold-faced youth at the half-step origin core realm, and he was an elite amongst the core disciples. This Zhao Feng has only just reached the origin core realm. If I'm able to fight evenly with him, I might be able to catch the attention of a king elder. The cold-faced youth made up his mind. Although the chances of him winning weren't high, he still decided to try. On the arena, the clash between Zhao Feng and the cold-faced youth attracted the attention of some people. Among them were the strongest in the south arena, Lu Tianfan, the true disciple Huang Yunhu, and the strongest true disciple, Kong Feiling. However, the battle ended faster than he had imagined. Shwa shwa. A faint ripple of wind and lightning was left behind, and the cold-faced youth's attack missed. Not good. Then he felt a heavy gust of wind coming from behind him. Ping ping. The cold-faced youth was smashed to the ground by the youth behind him. He barely managed to circulate his half-step true yuan defense, but it was like paper in front of that simple punch. What? A wave of shocked exclamations arose within the arena. What speed? Most of the spectators only saw a blur as Zhao Feng punched out, and the cold-faced youth fell to the ground. Those with lower cultivation could only sense Zhao Feng's speed. However, those with higher cultivation had solemn expressions and disbelief. That punch just now didn't seem to contain any true yuan. Huang Yunhu's mouth dropped open. He was paying 120% attention to Zhao Feng's battle. After all, he had lost to Zhao Feng twice. Lu Tianfan, who was standing beside him, said with certainty. Just now, Zhao Feng had first closed in with overwhelming speed and then unleashed a simple punch. That punch didn't contain any true yuan, but it easily shattered the defense of a half-step origin core realm. After this battle, Zhao Feng's fame rose, and everyone feared him. After that, as long as Zhao Feng's opponents weren't at the origin core realm, they would immediately admit defeat. He won 8 matches in a row. In the 9th match, Zhao Feng met Huang Yunhu. Has it started? Huang Yunhu sucked in a deep breath and prepared for battle. He lost to Zhao Feng in both battles, and he even made King Lu Yun lose face. At this moment, King Lu Yun was also paying attention to this battle. Begin! The judge waved his hand. Huang Yunhu circulated his true yuan and covered his body in a thick scarlet crystal armor. He used a precious earth elemental earth-grade armor to defend. Huang Yunhu's strategy is not bad. His advantage is speed. As long as he can stabilize his defense, he can counterattack. Lu Tianfan praised. Peng, in a blur, Zhao Feng's fist slammed into Huang Yunhu's earth-grade armor, and a soul-shaking boom resounded through the air. How is this possible? Huang Yunhu almost vomited blood as he retreated. The instant Zhao Feng punched out, a layer of silver-blue metal appeared on his body. Part of an invisible, domineering force pierced through the earth-rank armor and into his internal organs. The spectators were in an uproar. Huang Yunhu felt like he was sent flying with just one punch. Boom. Huang Yunhu's feet left the ground, and he was hit by Zhao Feng's powerful punches before he could stabilize himself. My earth armor can increase gravity by 10 times when it's activated, but that brat isn't affected at all. Huang Yunhu was shocked as he retreated. What? After a few punches, Huang Yunhu spat out a mouthful of blood, and a crack appeared on his armor. Zhao Feng wins. Seeing that the situation was not right, the referee immediately announced the verdict. In reality, this was what King Lu Yun wanted. The two aren't even on the same level. Zhao Feng was able to suppress Yun Hu with just his body-strengthening technique alone. King Lu Yun sighed. In the battle, he had clearly seen Huang Yunhu barely manage to counterattack and kick Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng's body didn't move at all. In other words, Zhao Feng's speed, power, and defense were all at the peak of the same rank. King Lu Yun also noticed that Zhao Feng's attacks were casual, as if he was holding back. This Zhao Feng is very strong. Lu Tianfan had a solemn expression, but his eyes were filled with battle intent. At the back, only a few people like Zhao Feng and Lu Tianfan were still able to maintain their winning streaks. Some geniuses had already been eliminated. As long as they lost 7 matches in a row, or lost 20 matches in a row, they would be eliminated. The core disciples on the southern stage were also looking forward to the battle between Lu Tianfan and Zhao Feng. As more disciples were eliminated, the chances of the two meeting became higher. Finally, after Zhao Feng won his 30th match, he met Lu Tianfan. This battle caught everyone's attention. Even the two kings in the secret dimension looked over with interest. This Lu Tianfan's cultivation has reached the peak sovereign lord level. I can't use my intent or my eye bloodline. For the first time, Zhao Feng felt troubled. Chapter 788. If he didn't use any of his hidden strength, Zhao Feng had no chance of winning against Lu Tianfan, who was at the peak Great Origin Core realm. The difference between the early stage Small Origin Core realm and the peak Great Origin Core realm wasn't just one realm. There were at least 6 small realms between them. Under normal circumstances, it would be a miracle if Zhao Feng wasn't instantly killed. Zhao Feng, I won't underestimate you, but you definitely won't be able to beat me. Lu Tianfan's eyes twinkled as battle intent rose. He was confident, but he wouldn't underestimate this youth that he couldn't see through. Start. The judge waved his hand. Shua. As soon as he finished speaking, a faint blue afterimage of Zhao Feng was left behind, accompanied by arcs of lightning and wind. What speed! The expressions of the spectators changed once again. The speed that Zhao Feng displayed right now was even faster than when he defeated Huang Yunhu and company. It was just as King Lu Yun had analyzed. Zhao Feng had held back a bit in his previous battles. Open! Lu Tianfan stood proudly as his hair and clothes fluttered in the wind. He didn't even look as he threw a punch to the side. Boom! That punch carried a surging dark purple halo. The terrifying power instantly sucked away all the air in the arena. The disciples near the southern arena all held their breaths. One bam! A silver-blue metallic figure surrounded by a layer of ripples, the water of wind thunder was blocked by Lu Tianfan's fist. Instantly, a terrifying wave of fire and lightning swept across the entire arena. Lu Tianfan stood proudly without moving. On the other hand, Zhao Feng's figure was instantly pushed back 100 yards, and he was still retreating. He was instantly killed in one move? All the experts in the secret realm looked at the sky above the southern arena. Boom! Zhao Feng's figure couldn't be stopped and was about to fly out of the arena. At this critical moment, shua! A pair of wind lightning wings formed behind Zhao Feng's back, giving off a dreamy feeling. Under the high-speed flapping of the tempest wings, Zhao Feng advanced instead of retreating. That kid actually didn't suffer any obvious injuries from that strike just now. Lu Tianfan's expression turned serious. If Zhao Feng only cultivated the 5-elemental wind lightning technique, he would be severely injured by a peak Great Origin Core realm head-on. However, after his reincarnation, he had also cultivated the Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body. His powerful physique greatly increased his battle prowess, and his defense was also monstrous. With the help of the water bloodline and the water of wind lightning, the minor injuries could be healed quickly. Sacred lightning body! Zhao Feng cried out in alarm as a layer of bluish-silver metallic luster appeared over his body. In that instant, his body grew a little taller and emitted a layer of sacred body energy that seemed to have materialized. In the air, a layer of translucent silver-blue electric patterns could be vaguely seen. Boom! Zhao Feng swooped down from the sky, his immense physical strength bringing with it a terrifying momentum. What a strong physique! Lu Tianfan's body sank as he felt the blood and qi in his body being suppressed. He had no choice but to split his quintessential origin energy to protect his internal organs. On top of that, the physical strength that Zhao Feng released contained an additional feeling of lightning on top of the child demigods. Not only did Lu Tianfan feel the pressure, but he also felt his body go slightly numb. Which emperor did that Zhao Feng come from? How did he comprehend such a profound body-strengthening technique? The 2 Void God Realm Kings within the secret dimension were stunned. Even with the foundation of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, it would be hard for them to find a body-strengthening technique of this level. Zhao Feng's body was like that of a demon, and as he charged down, a dark blue lightning wind dragon appeared on his fist and gave off a palpitating aura. Boom! The dark blue lightning wind dragon smashed toward Lu Tianfan with the support of the sacred lightning body. Swooping down from the sky, coupled with the speed boost from the wings of Tempest, the power of the attack was raised to the extreme. Unparalleled purple G. Enveloped by the terrifying power and raging wind and thunder, several domineering purple beams of light shot out in all directions. Soon after, hundreds and thousands of dark purple light beams shot out in all directions, covering 360 degrees with no blind spots. In an instant, the air above the arena was pierced by countless beams of purple light, and they formed a destructive attack. The 2 figures clashed head-on once or twice in the storm of wind, lightning, and purple light. In the first blow, Zhao Feng had the advantage and pushed Lu Tianfan back a step. In the second blow, the power of the unparalleled purple G was fully unleashed, and it pushed Zhao Feng back dozens of yards. Ice Imperial Spear. A layer of ice blue liquid covered Zhao Feng's body, forming a dark blue armor of ice and water. The ice-water battle armor rippled with lightning patterns and was ever-changing. The beams of purple light that could severely injure a small origin core realm started to smoke after hitting Zhao Feng's body. With the help of the ice-water bloodline and the water of wind lightning, the armor formed by Zhao Feng's Ice Imperial Spear didn't just have defense, it also had the power of lightning. Anyone who attacked it would be struck by lightning as well. Adding on the defense of the sacred lightning body, Lu Tianfan's Great Origin Core Realm secret technique couldn't threaten Zhao Feng at all. Whoosh! The wings behind Zhao Feng's back fluttered, and he flew into the air at an extremely fast speed before diving down. Inside the secret realm, some of the disciples gasped in amazement. Even the referee of the South Arena was dumbfounded. This battle had been personally adjudicated by the host king. It's hard to imagine that Zhao Feng has the initiative and is using the advantage to his advantage. King Lu Yun sighed. Unfortunately, with the difference in cultivation, Zhao Feng won't be able to gain any advantage in a head-on clash, and he might even be lightly injured. One of the kings sighed. It was already a miracle that Zhao Feng was able to do this. On the other hand, Lu Tianfan had a solemn expression, and he felt frustrated. His speed wasn't bad, and because of the advantage in cultivation, he wasn't any slower than Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng's lightning wings were too profound, and he had even comprehended the principles of space. Every time he dove down, he would use the force of his sacred body to increase his power. If he was in the air, Lu Tianfan wouldn't be able to touch Zhao Feng's lightning wings, and Zhao Feng would be able to find more openings. From the looks of it, it'll be very hard to beat Lu Tianfan without using my intent and eye bloodline. Zhao Feng used a lot of True Yuan as he flew. He would definitely lose if the battle dragged on. The first thing he used was his ice-water bloodline, which was used for defense and healing. Right at this moment, the other bloodline power within Zhao Feng's body felt like it was about to move. Let's give it a try. Zhao Feng's ice-water armor turned into water and merged into his body. A bright red glass-like flame surrounded Zhao Feng's body. In this instant, Zhao Feng's entire body seemed to be bathed in flames. His entire body was bright red, and with the addition of his sacred lightning body, he seemed like a flaming demonic sovereign. Bam! The lightning wings on Zhao Feng's back fluttered as he charged down and punched out. Zhao Feng felt a carefree feeling in that punch. Before his fist even arrived, a blood-colored flame exploded and lit up everything within 100 yards. What kind of bloodline is that? Lu Tianfan's body felt like it was being burned and corroded. The bloodline power was unyielding and domineering. It could burn and explode, and was extremely corrosive to the flesh and blood of living beings. Zhao Feng's sacred body released this bloodline power to the maximum and poured it into his target's body. The wings of wind and thunder pushed this attack to the peak in terms of speed. A layer of water lightning surrounded Zhao Feng's body, and it was a combination of offense and defense. Boom! The two clashed once again, but it was different from before. This time, the figure that was pushed back was Lu Tianfan. Boom! Zhao Feng was like a flaming demonic sovereign. His body was covered in bright red flames, and his lightning wings flapped. The power of his fists and palms had reached a terrifying level. Every single strike of his caused blood-colored flames to explode. They were extremely powerful and violent, and then they burned and corroded. Purple flame protection. Lu Tianfan also became angry. A layer of dark purple flaming armor covered his body, and his offense and defense increased dramatically as he clashed with Zhao Feng. Inside the mystic realm, all the spectators held their breaths. What kind of bloodline is that red flame on Zhao Feng's body? It's so powerful. Everyone was shocked. In terms of bloodline, Zhao Feng was several levels higher than Lu Tianfan. The aura of his bloodline was as domineering as an emperor's. It's an Imperial Dao bloodline. It's similar to the 81st ranked Blood Devil Sun bloodline, but it's even more unique and has the aura of an ancient bloodline. Could it be that the Blood Devil Sun bloodline has evolved in Zhao Feng's body, and his ranking has increased? King Lu Yun and another king discussed. Imperial Dao bloodlines were ranked 500th, and they included the continent zone and the surrounding oceans. These bloodlines were passed down from later generations, and they were separated from the 10,000 ancient races. Imperial Dao bloodline. Kong Feiling, who was on the eastern stage, felt her bloodline tremble. She finally understood why she could sense Zhao Feng before. She felt that Zhao Feng's Imperial Dao bloodline was more ancient than hers, and its explosive power was stronger. The battle continued. The life force within Lu Tianfan's body was being burned and corroded. Every round of attacks from Zhao Feng would take away some of his essence. Although Zhao Feng's true yuan was almost empty, Lu Tianfan's injuries were several times worse. King Lu Yun roared as a surge of magnificent power descended and stopped the battle. This battle ended in a draw. This Zhao Feng actually has a mutated Imperial Dao bloodline? If he was at the Great Origin Core Realm or even the Peak Small Origin Core Realm, I would have been the one to lose. Lu Tianfan's heart beat faster. If Zhao Feng only had an Imperial Dao bloodline, it wouldn't be a big deal. However, his other two techniques, the Golden Kuan Sacred Lightning Body and the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning Technique, were also monstrous. After taking over the body and reviving, Zhao Feng's future would be brighter if he cultivated the best skills and unearthed a peak bloodline. I'll need to ask the Zhao clan about this Imperial Dao bloodline after I return. Zhao Feng murmured. Originally, Zhao Feng's parents had died early and he had been an orphan since he was young. Several days later, the Divine Illusion trials had ended. Only 50 people were left in each arena. After that, this was the Divine Fantasy Trials overall competition. After many rounds of elimination, only 60 people remained. Zhao Feng didn't meet anyone that was his match in the overall Divine Illusion trials. The battle power he displayed was enough to rank him in the top 3 of the 10,000 Sacred Clan's core disciples. Almost all his opponents immediately surrendered. As long as he didn't meet Kong Feiling, Zhao Feng didn't need to worry at all. On the other hand, Lu Tianfan met Kong Feiling, who was ranked first in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.